Hello, everybody out there in podcast land. Thank you guys so much for tuning into the show. We are brought to you by Heal Brand. Heal Brand is the best CBD company that we have ever come across. I've been taking CBD products for years now, and I absolutely love it. But Heal Brand has taken my CBD consumption level to the next tier. This stuff is really the luxurious, high-quality, best brand that you're going to come across. Their whole claim to fame is the nanotechnology. It's the real deal. The claim is that through their nanotechnology, the CBD can actually break through the cellular wall and get into the bloodstream much faster and more efficiently. So you need less to do more. Often CBD products, you'll need to take it for a couple weeks before you really start noticing all of the benefits. With this stuff, as soon as you take it, you notice it right away. Within 15, 20 minutes, you're feeling the benefits of CBD. CBD is great for inflammation, anxiety, sleeping, all sorts of different stuff. CBD is really exploding on the scene because it has such a wide variety of benefits. I personally love to use CBD before I go to bed so I can get a full, well-rested night of sleep. Sleep is so crucial. It's so important. If you want to recover well, if you want to fight off depression and anxiety and those unwanted emotions, proper sleep is where you need to start. CBD products really help me do that, and Heal Brand CBD has a wide variety of options of different products, different formulas. It is all natural. It's amazing. This stuff is fantastic. You guys can head over to healbrand.com, check them out, and there is an exclusive offer to all of our PTG listeners. If you use code PLAYTHEGAME at checkout, you'll get 10% off. This episode is brought to you by G2 Paintball. G2 Paintball is back, and you guys should be incredibly excited. If you are in the area, in Arizona or anywhere on the West Coast, you want to make sure you do not miss this. Being in paintball shape is one of the most important things to being a top-level player. Not just a top-level pro, but a top-level player in any division. If you are trying to win tournaments, you want to be in the best physical condition possible. Paintball is so physically demanding. It requires so much of your physical ability, and G2 Paintball is designed to help you maximize that potential both on and off the field. G2 Paintball played a huge role in our World Cup win. It pays dividends to get out there and do these exercises, do these kinds of training. It is so difficult. It is very tough, but it is going to put you in position to win events, and that's what we're here to do. I teach this at all of my clinics. I always preach the importance of physical fitness in paintball ability. You can get all the way to the finals, but if you are only at 60% and a less talented, less skilled, less experienced team is at 90 or 100%, they are likely going to beat you. Do not let your physical ability be the reason you guys are not winning events. Get signed up for G2 if you guys are in the area. Make sure you get active, get involved. It is owned and operated by Victor Gamboa and Rusty Glaze. You have players like Tyler Harmon, myself, Ryan Greenspan, all part of the entire G2 program. You guys can stay up to date with everything at g2paintball.com, and we hope to see you at an event very soon. This episode of the podcast is brought to you by Lone Wolf Paintball. Lone Wolf Paintball is an online supplier that has been around for a very long time. They've actually been Michigan's premier paintball field and supplier since 1987. Now expanding into the online retail store, they are really trying to do their best to supply everything you need to the paintball community. They have it all. You can head over to lonewolfpaintball.com. If you want Field 1, HK, GI, Dye, it doesn't matter. They got it. You can surf the website. You can check it out. They have what you need, guaranteed. And they also boast excellent customer service and same-day shipping. That's pretty badass. You could go to the website, order something, and it's going to be sent out that day. That's fantastic. That's amazing customer service. So again, guys, if you would like, you could head over to lonewolfpaintball.com. You could also check them out on YouTube and Instagram. Their Instagram is lonewolfpb, and their YouTube is Lone Wolf Paintball. And you can see and keep up to date with all their latest deals, their sales, their content. It's a lot of really fun stuff. Play the Game Podcast is excited to have them on board, and you guys should head over and become part of the community. All right. This episode is brought to you by Transfuse. Transfuse is the only all-natural electrolyte drink that you guys need to have in your cabinets. We love this stuff. We've been using this for an entire season now. This stuff is amazing. I feel great when I drink Transfuse. I drink it every single day. I don't go a day without putting a packet of Transfuse in my water. It's very easy, very portable, easy to travel with, and delicious to drink, which means that you're going to love drinking it and you're going to drink more of it, which is going to be incredibly beneficial to your health. Has magnesium, potassium, sodium, which are all amazing for proper hydration. It has zinc, vitamin C, vitamin B, and choline. These things are incredible cognitive enhancers and immune boosting formulas that you don't want to miss out on, especially in times like this. I'm telling you, I drink Transfuse every single day. I love it. Tyler does as well. Anybody who has tried it has been just pouring with great feedback back to us. There's a reason that they're at all the NXL events and a lot of the top teams and top professionals are using this product. Do not walk around dehydrated. I never realized how dehydrated I was, even when I was drinking all sorts of water. It's not enough. You need the proper nutrition. You need the right ingredients. Transfuse has done a great job of curating the perfect formula. Transfuse is absolutely spectacular, and for all of our listeners, there is a special deal for any Play the Game listener. If you head over to translabs.com, that's TRANZLABS.com, and use code PLAYTHEGAME at checkout, you will get 10% off. If you subscribe, which means they auto ship you your package every single month, whatever you want, whatever type, whatever flavor, whatever electrolyte formula you desire, they will give you an additional 11% off. So it becomes a 21% discount exclusively for all Play the Game listeners. Huge, huge shout out. And we are incredibly thankful for our supporters. And if you guys would like to go support them, it's translabs.com. Use code PLAYTHEGAME. What's going on, PTG fam? Thank you guys so much for tuning into the show. This episode is our 100th episode, so we knew we had to bring in the big guns. This had to be an absolute banger. We've got none other than Damian Ryan. Damian is definitely the Alex Jones of paintball, full of wild ideas, crazy concepts. Some would call them conspiracies. Damian, truly at the core, at the foundation of all of his beliefs, it just comes from a place of loving the game, loving the sport that we all play, and wanting the best for it. So it was amazing to be able to sit down with him and really dissect his ideas and talk to him about all the things that he's doing behind the scenes right now to bring those ideas to fruition. I think you guys are going to really love this one. So without further ado, hop in the show.
That was an insane inside move by Marcelo Margot. Great communication. And the crowd starts chanting Harmon. Great shot by all the guys. So Tyler Harmon saved that game. He came out with 2 wins. Marcelo Margot was on fire.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, the one you have all been waiting for, episode 100 with none other than Damien Ryan, the man, the myth, the legend. He's been MIA. He's got a lot to say. He wants to let the world know. My man, Dame, how you doing?
I'm good, guys. How are you?
Yeah, baby. Doing good.
Yeah.
Good to see
and
you.
We got the
I'm
Alex
glad to
Jones
be
of
here.
paintball coming on the show here, ready to
take that as a
drop it like it's
compliment.
hot.
Take it as a
Hey,
compliment.
I enjoy just about every podcast that man does. I do. I'm not going to say I agree with all of his points of views, but they're entertaining. That's for sure.
That's fair. That's fair. All
Yeah.
right, let's get this bad boys. I'm excited just to talk paintball. Honestly, I feel like I've been cooped up so long with the business and the farm that I feel like I'm like a caged up lion sometimes. I get so like seriously like angsty and just like I got to go out and do something.
Yeah.
Like I just go outside and dig something. Like I'm just
Hell
playing
yeah.
paintball.
Well,
That's
dude, you're an animal on the field. I mean, everybody knows it. If from within the pro industry, and anybody who watches paintball knows that you're a monster when you step on the field. One of my favorite paintball players to watch, and shout out to Iowa one time. We're both, Iowa boys. So that's mad love and respect to the cornfields out there. And
Farm
it's
boys.
just, yeah, baby. You know how it goes. We're super stoked to have you here because you are a go-getter. You're making a name for yourself in the paintball industry, and you have a business that you're running. You're attacking life, and we want to tap in with you on, paintball and just what's going on with you. So where are you at exactly?
Right now I am in Grove, Oklahoma. It's like the northeast corner of Oklahoma.
There we go.
Don't know how I ended up here, but here we are with a legal grow farm and just been grinding away with, the growing pains of starting your own business, the growing pains of learning how to grow, a commercial plant, how to grow a specific plant. It's just been a lot of learning curve, but, I don't like to lose. I don't give up. I like to take problems head on and just keep trucking. So, dealing with break-ins and shitty piece of people in society has been tough, but here we are. I'd rather my mindset anymore is I don't give energy to the negative shit. Like it happens. I've been broken into 5 times, and the last one I filled out the police report and went right back to work. Like someone was like, "What are you gonna do?" I'm like, "I don't even care. Like it doesn't matter. Like what's the point?" Like
Well, what can you do, right?
Exactly,
All you can do is fill out that police report and get back to trucking.
yeah, like literally within 20 minutes, like we had the wall fixed and swept everything up. Like it was a terrible day, but
Wait, they came in through the wall?
they sawzawed Like
What?
a metal, the metal is the walls. Like it's like a metal building, right? So like
Yeah.
they just sawzalled a hole, a rectangle,
Oh,
kicked the drywall
jeez.
and came in that way. Yeah.
Yeah. Damn. That's
Ugh,
Yeah,
the
crazy.
worst part
nuts.
is like I had a helper like slash buddy that was sleeping in the plum bus, like as you know, overnight security out back. He slept through the entire thing.
Oh no. Oh man. So
Ooh.
shout out to the Plums one time. Before we get into everything, I want to talk about Plum Life and what that means to you and what it all stands for. You're rocking a Plum Life hat right now, and I think it would be cool for the listeners to get the scoop on that.
Yeah. So where it originally started was, I guess that's so long ago.
With like Ollie, right? Or I don't know, was Ollie involved at all?
No, it was. If my memory recalls it as, I want to say me and Bobby were in Guatemala
Bobby for sure.
doing a clinic with it was the first HK crash at
Shout
the
out to
coast.
B-Cat.
Was the first maybe the second one where like it was the Hard Rock in San Diego and there's a bunch of like crazy Guatemalan like well things got wild. Let's just leave it at that, right? But like it was those kids and they became friends of ours. So like we went there to do a clinic and at the end of the day, like we named our teams. One of the kids named a team the Rotten Plums, but this turned into Plums. And like me, Brad McCurley, Bobby, like we kind of just started using it like for everything, like just kind of, you know, get the plum, like where the plum at, like oh dude, like
Yeah.
whatever it is. But this turned into Plum Life just because it became our lifestyle, and it's just we really boiled down to like the best definition I can explain to someone is just live your dream. Like, because at the end of the day, like everyone says live the dream, but like to me, everyone's dream is fucking different. Like,
Mm-hmm.
you know, I don't at this point, like, I don't want to make $100 million and have a giant mansion. Like, I'd rather build a giant compound with interactive farm and garden and animals. Like at this point in my life, right? Like, you may want to do something else. Myself, I might want to build a castle in the mountains. Like, so
Mm-hmm.
like the
Ooh,
dream
that sounds
is
nice.
yeah, like the dream is so specific. So like to me, it's like just if everyone truly embraced like their dream themselves as whatever they are meant to be, like that's to me where like the world's going to prosper and everyone just fully, you know, gets to flow state, like is in the
Mm-hmm.
zone and just can exist and create and be, not deal with all the bullshit that we have to deal with.
Mm.
It's been nice to
Yeah,
step away from society. Look
it's
at me.
a powerful thing. I know, you know, that's why people love to go camping. You know, that's why it brings people so much relief to just kind of step outside of the grid and turn the electronics off a bit and be away from the chaos. It's mentally draining to be, you know, 24/7 in a city where it's just nonstop energy everywhere. You know, people are just moving and shaking and always have somewhere to be. You know, and granted, we need that as well. You know, because if we don't have that, there's a lot of other things that we don't get to enjoy. But you know, definitely people getting out and doing stuff that they love. I think you would just have a better society. People would be happy on a daily basis if they
Exactly.
enjoy what they do, right? You spend majority of your time at your job. So,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, how many people just really hate their jobs? Like, let's just be real.
Mm.
We'll change that though. That things are in the works. As we talked about, little pre-convo, Tyler. The veil's lifting, the corners turned. Good juju, good intentions is winning out. I think that's where we kind of see a lot of the turmoil in the world right now. Is just kind of shaking out, you know, two different dimensions. You know, if you want to go conspiracy talk or whoever may. I don't know.
We're ready.
I don't know where you guys stand. To
ready.
me, that's not a conspiracy. To me, that's just the way it is. Like,
yeah,
you know, everyone believes in
what
ghosts.
what exactly are we talking about?
Third dimension, fifth dimensions. Like to me, it's all it's a mental state. But like, so we'll make it simple. Like, let's start with ghosts. Like, you guys agree in ghosts. Most people believe in ghosts, right?
My dad punched through a ghost when I lived in Sonora. Yeah,
I saw my first one confirmed out back at the farm here in my life. Like my buddy saw it with me.
What did you see?
It was just like a black orb, just thing kind of just blobbing slowly and creepily, like for 10 or 15 seconds, like, and then it just vanished. Like, and I was literally like, I was kind of staring off at it, and I like was watching it, and I like snapped back, and I was like, no way, you know, I thought, no way, and I like just thought about it a little bit. I looked at my buddy, and like he was staring in the exact same direction, and had this weird look on his face, and I was like, what are you looking at, buddy Walker? And he's like, you're not gonna believe. He kind of like snapped back. He's like, you're not gonna believe me. And I'm like, wait. I was like, don't say it. And I like went over and like reenacted like what I thought I saw. And he went white. He's like, dude, that's exactly what I saw. Like,
jeez.
Yeah, it's crazy because you do hear scientists and, you know, people that try to explain these phenomenons, and they usually have some sort of explanation, but I don't know if I'm buying it, because I've seen weird stuff too like that. I'm just like, I don't, I don't know. I think what I saw looked a little different. You know, it
Science
looked like
doesn't
there was
have the
intention
answers
and
to everything.
they don't. I agree.
That's
100%.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Rico.
you know, that's
Rico was the one that was up in Groveland. That's where I was born at, Groveland, California, up in the Sierra Nevada
Rico.
mountains up there.
Shout
And it was
out.
like this old gold mining town, like, you know, old town that was, you know, now that they don't gold mine, not much going on up there.
Except for all the lost souls.
Exactly.
They didn't make it through the mines.
And we would hear the dog would follow Rico up and down the stairs. And then my dad is fresh out of the army, you know, just beasting in. And like one night he woke up and Rico was standing there right next to him, and he freaked out and woke my mom up like, Mariana, wake up. And she didn't believe it. And then it was crazy.
Yeah.
We had someone come through and be like, you know, please
cleanse the house.
Take off. You know,
I tell them to take me at this point. I embrace
wherever you're going, I want to go.
I mean, to me, the reality is like, if they exist and we all kind of agree on that platform, like, what's the difference then? How come?
I don't know.
So they can choose when they appear to us. So to me, like on an energy level, all it means is they have the ability to manipulate the dimensions or something.
Right.
Or it's all in our head and this is all AI and it's just a game at this point. So let's just play it.
Which also could be.
That's where my head's at. Like I walk around barefoot outside in 100-degree rocks and just tell myself it's all mental.
Barefoot, baby.
Just run across with it. It's weird. But
how do those blisters on the bottom of your feet? Like, what do they tell you yourself?
I'll tell you this much. When I wear sandals, I started getting what's the wart on the bottom of your foot? Like a planter's wart?
Yeah, you can get one of those for sure.
All right, so I haven't had one of those in decades, but I've been wearing, like, honestly, they're Bobby Avila says, like, old Adidas sandals that I commandeered years ago that I just ride things till they die. Shout out to Bobby.
Dude, shout out to BCat one more time. He is one of the best of all time.
Let's give him props over at Defy. He's making good moves. I like to see Bob doing well. He deserves it. He's a grinder.
He is.
Absolutely.
BCat to the moon.
So anyways, like, I've been wearing these sandals a lot, and I started getting a fucking a blister on the bottom of my foot, of whatever those things are called, a planter's wart. Go a couple days barefoot out there, and the thing starts disappearing. Like,
interesting.
To me,
talk to me about Barefoot Life. You run around barefoot all day? Is that how it goes?
Not all the time, but it's enjoyable to run around outside barefoot. It's grounding.
For sure.
It keeps you connected to the source, baby.
We talked about this actually on one of our episodes with it had to have been Joe and
Joe for sure, and Harrison.
Oh, don't. Joe doesn't blink, dude. I can't talk to Joe Barrett. Harrison's weird.
He doesn't want to miss anything. He never knows when the fifth dimension might try to fly through.
He blinks sideways like a snake once a day, and it's odd.
Shout out to Joe, JB. But he's a big believer in the grounding. Firm believer in it, and I think there's something there for sure for many reasons.
I try to. You have to tap in. You have to definitely get barefoot on the ground as often as you can. You don't want the rubber. There really is kind of a disconnect there. You want to be tapping in.
For sure.
Yeah. Real quick, guys. I want to go back to the ghost stories. You guys both got to tell yours. And
let's hear it.
Yeah. So this is going to be a first for a lot of the listeners, but this is, to this day, it's a crazy one that I look back and I get it could have been a coincidence, but it was just really strange. So I lived in this like duplex with my mom and my little twin brothers when we were younger. I was probably 17, maybe 18 years old, and my little brothers were 14. They're twins. So one of them was in my room with me, and we're watching a movie. It's late at night, and I had a window that was open to the driveway, and we shared like a pretty big driveway with the neighbors, right? Again, it was like this little complex that had three separate, they were almost like little apartment units, out of one house. And so it was a big fenced off driveway that in order for the lights on the outside to go off, it was a motion sensor. Someone had to definitely be trespassing. It wasn't somebody just, walking by the street, because it was so far up that you had to come for that to be activated. So anyway, we're sitting there watching this movie. And I'm not kidding. So in front of me, we had my bed, and then the TV was up on this entertainment center, or in this entertainment center. And then at the top was completely flat, and I had like a bunch of trophies and medals on it. There was no earthquake. Nothing was moving. All of a sudden the light on the outside comes on and something falls off of the TV stand. My little brother is petrified of ghosts. He when he was younger, he like truly wouldn't go to the bathroom by himself. I'm not kidding. Sorry to put that on blast.
Yeah, tased him, dude.
Yo, little brother,
down.
yeah. he's fine now, but like really had a fear of ghosts. And so, you know, I kind of jump up. I'm thinking, oh, it's got to be somebody, you know, messing with us or coming up, you know, like trying to get into our house or something. What's going on? So I look outside, the light's on, and it's dark out, you know, and so then the light goes off. As soon as it goes off, it comes right back on. So Paul's freaked out. I'm kind of freaked out. I'm like paying attention out there, but I go to the window. I don't see anybody, you know, no one's out there. So I go back in bed and I'm laying there. It was, oh, by the way, it was a trophy that fell off. It was one of my trophies.
Do you know what specific trophy?
Dude, honestly, I don't remember. I don't know if that's because it was like
symbolic,
trauma.
Dude, it was trying to tell you something.
Maybe it was. Maybe it was. Maybe it was.
What were you watching?
It was I don't remember what I was watching either. It was probably a second place trophy.
Yeah,
and it probably was symbolic.
Get back to
dude,
work,
honestly,
Marcelo.
I was like,
quit watching TV and get back to work, dude.
Yeah, something. Maybe. You could be right. Could be right. But anyway, so I put it back up on the TV stand. We go back, we lay in bed, the light's still on, it goes off, comes right back on again. So like someone is right there. They have to be. They absolutely have to be. The light will not go off for more than a second. It keeps coming back on. Next thing I know, trophy flies off the top of the thing again. I swear to God, hits the floor. I'm not kidding. I put this on my father. You know, he's up there somewhere right now watching down, like he's telling the truth, guys. So now I'm freaked out. So much so to the point where I'm not religious. I believe in, you know, some sort of afterlife. I believe in something beyond this world. I do. We can get into that conversation later, but I don't subscribe to any sort of religion. I don't typically pray. But I grabbed my little brother and we started praying because I was scared shitless at this point. Like, what's going on? We started praying. We get all the way through the prayer. As soon as I said amen, the light goes off, stays off. Nothing else happened the rest of the night. I don't know what that means or how much of a coincidence it was, but I truly was to this day. Again, this is like 13 years ago, you know, to this day, I'm like, that was a strange night. That was strange. It was incredibly strange because
there's no coincidences. That was
yeah, it was weird, dude. It was weird. It made me definitely second guess and believe in something a little more.
Had your dad passed away at that point in time of your life?
No. He was with us. He was still with us. But
so maybe it was him pushing your trophy off saying get back to work.
I've got some angels up there that maybe we're saying that. Yeah. It was like 11 o'clock at night, so I don't know where they wanted me to go work as a 17-year-old kid, but you know.
Damn, that's crazy. Whoa.
Yeah, dude, 100%. So,
dang,
you know, my whole thing is
all I know is I don't know.
Exactly, exactly, dude. I'm like, I don't know, and anyone who pretends they know, you're a clown. You are a clown if you pretend to know 100%.
I know enough that I've seen enough stuff that everyone would say doesn't exist, and I know they don't know enough, and that the out that way is limitless. That's where I'm at.
Yeah.
Like anything
for all the listeners, Damien is being very animated on the YouTube. I suggest checking it out. He's pointing out to his far left direction or far right direction there.
Yeah.
And then down to the left.
That way.
Yeah.
Limitless.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
It is, and I mean, that is the thing about this experience is it is a multi-dimensional experience. What we are in is a multi-dimensional experience. There's so many facets to, you know, this human life. And I want to start a movement. Like, we're not just human beings, but we need to be like humans being nice. Like, we need to rename ourselves or something. You know what I mean? Like, we have to.
I get what you're saying.
Yeah, we need to because human beings has a lot of options, but I think if we call ourselves human being nice, you know what I mean, then it kind of steers us in the right direction.
My mindset anymore this is because I'm surrounded by plants and animals, and to me they're all living things. Like I have conversations with my dogs, and I swear to you, they understand me. Like,
God bless them, man, and the plants.
It connects to the next level of source. Like, there'll be times where, like, in my head, I'll be looking at one of my dogs, like Dre's a German Shepherd, and like he'll be staring at me, and I'll be like, this is all a game. The Matrix is real. This is all AI. And then he'll wink. He'll wink at me at the perfect time. And it's not like it happens once. Like, this happens like 10, 15, 20 times. Like, and then he looks at me and like he's got like black markings that look like a Joker smile. So it always looks like he's got a smile on his face. So he winks, and then he's the prettiest dog just looking at you smiling. I'm like, it's all true, isn't it?
It's all true.
I love animals, man. Plants, like I was saying, I am always trying to, at any moment, get into nature. That's where I need to be, you know.
Come visit the farm, baby.
Yeah, shout out to Oklahoma, you know, and
We'll get you a
dude,
clinic at the field in KC, which we'll
yeah,
touch on later. But
Yep.
yeah,
Yep.
it's only 3 hours from the farm. I can up in the corner, so we can package it
mhm,
together. You guys can come do a clinic for a weekend, like get a
there
little
we go.
source in. We'll camp for a day or two, put you to
Oh,
work.
sounds great.
Put us
Sounds
to
awesome.
work. Yeah. No, that
Like how you
dude,
snuck that
we're
part in.
trying to get out to Oklahoma and see that field. It looks amazing. So
The
let's
fields in
dive into that.
Kansas
But
City. The fields in Kansas City.
Kansas. Yep.
in Kansas City, let's talk about the field for a second before we dive into your paintball story and start ripping into that. I want to talk about this field and how it all came to fruition, what you got going on out there, what's cracking.
All right, so hold on, my medicine. Little background story. So I worked in the industry. Make it short. I worked for Key, GI, and then Valken. I don't want to get distracted. We should touch base on how I got fired from
We
Valken.
will
That's a great
totally
story.
go through.
Yeah,
Yeah, we'll go
but
through the whole
so
paintball story for
anyways,
sure.
like as that ended, like my plan was to build. Took out a loan and acquired 7 acres in like Northwest Arkansas to build a field. So like I kind of like spent months like planning it. Like in my whole, since the age of 10, I've loved paintball. Like all I've done is played paintball, lived at paintball fields, traveled for paintball, thought paintball, breathed paintball. Like it's you're just talking about it. Like I get amped up because I haven't been able to play. Like it should be so much more than it is, and that's another conversation. Stay focused.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So I was going to build a field and then saw the business opportunity with the farm and realized, unfortunately, that the way society's structured, it takes a bunch of money to really do anything of substance of a big level. So, I kind of put everything I owned and then started the farm. And then Todd Boyer, who's the one, honestly, he's been putting all the slave labor in at the field. He's the one that's partnered on it. He's the main guy right now. I haven't been able to be up there as much as I can come down at the farm, but like just via, everything I had planned in his brain, and he's a fucking great mind and a workhorse. And we've just years of chatting and playing together. Like we just kind of agree that to us, we believe paintball should be more. I think we all agreed to this. Everyone that plays loves the sport for a reason, but for some reason it's where it is. We'll talk about that later. But in this frustration, we both kind of agreed that let's go all in on a really nice, the nicest field in the world. Let's try to put and just finally build what we think it should be, and quit expecting other people to do it, because the reality is at this point in life, no one's going to do it for you exactly how you want. So do it yourself. And the vision's coming together, and we've only got just the perfect foundation and a perfect flawless turf field that we already like. And the way Todd and I are, like, he's looking at it the first time I went up there to see it, and he's put a lot of money and effort into it, and I'm like, so do you love it or do you see the imperfections? He's like, I see the imperfections, like instantly, right? It's still, in my, and I'll say this boldly, like it's the foundation and the surface itself is the nicest field I've ever seen or play out in the world. Like a flawless grass field at the perfect time to me, like, is untouchable. But you can't play in that year round. You can't use that. If you play a tournament that on a rainy weekend, it's destroyed. So like in my head, the vision is we're going to build, and like with the turf field, like I'm gone balls in on plants and landscaping and building, and like just I can, with the skid steer and a plan and the funds to build a garden or whatever we want to do. Like we're going to landscape this place gorgeous. Like our goal is to have somewhere where mom wants to sit and read a book and be surrounded by plants and crops and produce. Like make it green, like make it so when people are recording, it looks like a gorgeous landscaped domed stadium field. Like why not?
Yes.
Like it should be. Like everything's seen on a camera or on a phone or on a laptop anymore. So like it really just, if it looks dope in the background, like people are going, oh, that looks sweet. Like I'll go sit out there and see what this is. Like they see a dumpster full of paint boxes and a bunch of drunks fighting each other in the stands, like with 80% of the stands empty, they're not going to want to go there. But if they see a gorgeous landscape bleachers that like is full of plants and people, they'll go read a book and see what this is about. Like,
dude,
it is immaculate.
Yeah, I love what you just said there. We talk about that frequently on the show, the aesthetic of paintball parks and how important it is to present a nice product so that moms and dads and people that are coming to bring their kids look at it and say, I want to spend time here. I want to have my kids here. I'm okay leaving my kids there, right?
Yeah,
That's an important part of it. And then the atmosphere of, like you said, everyone has phones, like taking pictures. That's why Paintball Fit, I think, is so cool. When you take pictures at Paintball Fit, it looks professional.
Yeah,
And it's so simple.
it looks
Just put
dope.
banners.
It's not hard. It takes effort.
Right,
That's the complicated.
It
It takes
does.
effort, and you can't be greedy. Like, you just put a little more back in, and to me, it just compounds and pays off tenfold down the road. And most people are just too short-sighted to see that anymore. Kansas City Sports Park. Sorry, I didn't even say the name. Shout out. Woo! Follow it.
Kansas City Sport. You guys have an Instagram for it?
Yeah. My phone is charging over there.
I'm sure if you go and just,
I think I have it.
Yeah, if you just type in.
One of you, I've tagged you guys from it, or Todd's tagged you. Todd, he'll get out there and tag everyone in it.
There we go. Kansas City Sports Park in the building. It is one of the greatest looking fields I've ever seen. Definitely can't wait to slide around.
Sports Complex, now that I say
yep,
that, yeah.
It's KC. So KC for Kansas City. KC Sports Complex.
It's the IG.
Nice.
Yep, that's the IG.
Go.
So major shout out to them. I thought I was following. I don't know what happened, but I just followed just now.
I swear on IG, like, I've had, like, at one point Mouse literally called me, and he's like, he just followed me on IG, like, months ago, and I knew that he followed me we've been friends for a year. Like, I knew you guys when you were 14 on Aftermath.
Yeah.
He goes, dude, I didn't know what to do. He's like, I didn't unfollow you, but, like, I didn't know. He's like, I knew you were gonna see that I had to refollow you. So he called me to, like, talk. I trust you didn't do it. Like, I think IG just does that. I swear, it just.
Yeah, that's such a Mouse thing too, to overthink that.
Yeah, like,
I was gonna call you and be like, hey, I don't want this to look bad.
Hey, it's thoughtful. It really is.
For sure. Yeah.
No, he cares.
Absolutely.
He's a gentle
giant. So I want to keep talking about this field though, Damien, because it seems like you guys, you are doing it right, and you're definitely sharing the vision that Tyler and I have preached about. We've had a lot of people on, and it's all talk. I mean, Tyler and I, we're not out there doing anything to actually put up one of these fields. We're just talking about these ideas, at the end of the day. So to have people that are actually, putting it into reality, it's amazing. So how important do you think it is to have all those things? Is that the make or break for, say you want to have a league there, or is it just even at the ground level, for new players?
I think from all angles, it's needed. I think, as you can see, I think businesses can exist and struggle to survive, as some do. Some exist and make good money. A few make really good money. But at the end of the day, like, to me, like, they all could be making more money. And they, like, to me, when I worked at Key, the JR, the CEO there, like, he said something that stuck with me. He's like, everyone in this industry, so, like, they're stuck over fighting over this pie, right?
Yes.
Like, this pie. Let's say it's 100 right now. It's probably a $50 million pie. So all they do is they fight over this $50 million pie, and they lie and they cheat each other, and they all worry about each other cheating each other, and they're all trying to snake each other. And we'll go on that later. But, like, if they all would just step back and be like, hey, if we all grew this $50 million pie to a $150 million pie and just ate the same slice, by default, it's bigger. Like, you don't have to be greedy. We could all spend our energy working together. So, like, to me, like, I think it's necessary on all levels. And at this point, like, I just don't care to waste to me, my fire with it comes from, like, I love paintball since I was 10. Like, we all do. Like, we all know. We all got our crazy stories. But anyways, like, I'm to the point where, like, I don't even enjoy playing the NXL anymore. Like, I love competing, but, like, to me, like, the game has been so formatted into this little robotic, just run and shoot a bounce shot, ramp mode, do this. Like, it's just meant to shoot pain and help the field owners, and it's dictated by the industry because the reality is it is. Like, so to me, like, yeah, we're going to just do it all different. Like, long term, yeah, we do intend to do a league or partner with other leagues. Like, not to say we're going to work with Asher, but Asher just did something that to me looked awesome. Like, yeah, like, it's easy to do it and give more back. Like, you don't have to, put a traveling road show on and spend $500,000 setting up a circus in Shitboxville. And, I
guess all I would say is I just don't know enough. Like, I honestly, as a player, I don't know. I just don't know what's actually going on within the finer workings of everything. That's me personally.
So, Damien, what about the NXL don't you enjoy? You kind of mentioned format. Is it format, or is it like the actual venue? What is it that you don't enjoy?
All of the pieces puzzled together just has become not as much fun as it used to be. Like, how much fun was it? We all used to be so stoked to go to every event. Like you got to see your friends. You also got to compete. Like, you got to play this awesome sport. Now I feel like everyone's going to like either get a paycheck or just like a few of us are passionate. Like, just to me, there's no passion anymore.
So maybe, do you think maybe that's misdirected at the NXL?
Okay,
yeah,
and I speak general. I speak in general terms, but there's exceptions to all the rules, and you two for sure are exceptions to the rules. You know, most of the pros are, and to me that shows because it's been the same.
Yeah,
for the most part, pros in the top tier for 15 years. Like, to me, there's a reason. The mental game was there from playing all these formats growing up. We all grew up in the woods with rental guns, with mechanical guns, played 7-man. Like, nowadays, any kid jumps in, can buy a $200 ramping gun and go straight to a speedball field and learn how to shoot a bounce shot at the age of 10. But when you put them in a situation to think, they go, what? Whack, 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 whack. Like, and then they just get frustrated. So it's not complicated. To me, like, it's all stems from lack of learning all of the pieces of the puzzle growing up and going through the system. And that's where, like, there's so many angles to talk about, but like, we've got a grassroots program. Like, I've got a Tom Palmer, a field owner up in Canada. I've been working in the shadows as much as I've been doing the farm work. Like, it's amazing what you can do with the phone anymore. But like, I've been talking paintball people as much as I can. And like, Tom Palmer, a field owner up in Canada, has got a huge grassroots program and a plan to just kind of, you know, to me, like, I agree with him. Like, a lot of field owners agree with him. Like, there's no main entity pushing, like, if you were to look up a perfect example, not to throw just under the bus, but like when Team USA, all this shit would happen, where do you go to look at paintball information? Who represents paintball? There's no front runner. If you go to the NXL, they don't care about growing the sport. They made that clear. They host venues, like they host events. So who's it?
Well, hold on though. Let's talk through that. What makes you think they don't care about growing the sport? Because
they say I do think at some point in the arguments of all this stuff, like they made their stance. Tom, I'm not to quote it. I don't want to go too far into all those rants because there's too much other good stuff I want to talk about. But like, I'm fairly certain at one point, because I remember just remembering this and people screenshotting it, that like one of them stated, an employee of the NXL stated that like they weren't here to grow the sport. They were here to host events and be a venue, right? Like, to put on somewhere for primary tournaments.
Right. And that's the primary.
And that's okay.
Goal of their business.
That's fine. I'm fine.
Well, you know, Damien, it's in their best interest to want paintball to do well.
And I agree with that. But to me, like, that's where I would put a lot more focus and efforts than anyone does. So, and don't get me going on you, Tyler, because you're paid by the man now. So anyway, so let's not go too deep in that, but let's
real quick. I just, again, just because I think it's important to push back only where I see fit if I do, because I love
the good cocks.
Of course, 100%. And again, this is why I was so excited to talk to you, Damien, because you bring up a lot of really good points that need to be talked about for sure, you know, and without people that can give perspective on both sides, you have something that just goes in one direction for the rest of time, and that doesn't work, right? So
exactly.
you have to have perspective from all angles. But as far as the NXL goes, I think them being able to provide the best venue and be the elite league does in turn grow paintball, right? Now, maybe it's not in the way that a field that their primary goal is to get new participants and things like that. Maybe it's not in the same way, but it's equally as important because it's the peak of what we do as professional paintball athletes, at least for now, right? It's the elite form of what we do. And I do know that Tom also does do quite a bit to work with the cities that he goes to advertise within the city that there's going to be a professional event. Now we could get into discussions if, you know, things like free entry into the grandstands should be, you know, there's all those kind of things we could talk about for sure. But the effort is definitely made to get paintball in front of more eyes and figure out ways to do that from Tom Cole personally. You know, I can attest to Tom at least. Right. So, I just don't want it to be painted that it's not their goal at all and they're not trying to.
Okay,
is that fair?
Absolutely fair. Yes, I will say to some extent, yes, the NXL does, that is their main role. And I wasn't saying they don't do it at all. You are correct. They get more eyes on paintball than most do. I was just, when I say the statement that like their main focus isn't to grow paintball, it's just to like set the precedent.
Sure.
That, like, all right, so if it's not them, which most of us look to, because they do get a lot of eyes on it. So we assume it's them. But like, to me, like, as you said, like, they're up here. They're the tip of the iceberg. So to me, like, who's worrying about the foundation?
Right. Their priority is not to get
Right. So like
never before players to the local
so
field.
to me, like all you have is field owners like all doing their best, but like they're also trying to run a business and build a field. Like that in itself
Totally.
is its own beast. So
Totally.
like then who's it fall on? The paint manufacturers, maybe? Like, but
Mhm.
let's be real, they're not doing that. Like they don't give a shit.
What do you think, Damien? Again, this is an idea we've tossed around, and actually, having Dave Cheney on early on, it was a great episode, and it's something he's doing right now.
Can I be honest?
with his company? Yeah, sure.
Who's
sure.
Dave Cheney?
Okay, so Dave
No,
Cheney. Yeah,
I'm off
no,
the
it's all
grid,
good.
dude.
So
I'm in the
Dave Cheney was like one of the head marketing guys at Under Armour back in
cool.
2015. He's the guy who brought Under Armour into paintball. He now works over at New Balance. He's been with Red Bull. Just a dynamite person that really
I've been
cares about
buying New
paintball.
Balance lately. I like
Dude,
New
New Balance is the business.
Yeah.
They're the business,
Dave
bro.
Cheney, hit me up.
Yeah, Dave is the man. He's a longtime paintball supporter. He plays, and it kind of one of his ideas though is standardizing fields, right? So that fields have a game plan of what to do. I think that's a big part of it. I think a lot of these field owners don't quite know how to present paintball in the best way, and they cut corners where they don't realize how bad it is to cut those corners. And I think having some sort of standardization, because at the end of the day, that is how we grow paintball. People come to paintball fields for their first time.
Exactly.
Their first exposure, their first engagement to the game is at a local paintball park, and so having, you have the rec side, that's usually how people get into it. But what if you also had a really cool area with all the pro stuff? You've got videos playing, or maybe a podcast playing, got the Spick and Span show, Play the Game podcast. You have
exactly.
You show like, damn, this is a real thing. What?
Start
like
to
maybe
finish. Start to finish. You need
exactly.
the whole enchilada in one place, because then you get, because how do we all start? Birthday party, a little kid group, right? But if you go as a little kid and you can see like, this is awesome, and then you look over there and you're like, and that's where that ends. Like, take me on that journey. Like,
exactly.
This is where like you go to Tom Palmer. You need to get Dave in touch with Tom Palmer in Canada, because I'm going to forget 85% of the shit we talk about, because my brain has 50,000 compartments going full throttle with genius ideas and ways to just help things at all times.
I'm going to write this down.
But so like Tom has a field owners association that has a couple hundred field owners. They're all in agreement with what we say. Like they all need a grassroots program. He's kind of already got a lot of this built and developed. And like at this point, I'm kind of just showing my cards, because I don't really care. But like part of my plan is to build the perfect field, which we're started on. Like, right, like get it in touch with the field owners and get a plan with them that we can all work together. Like, so if you take a league, which, like, honestly, someone has the league, call me. Like, I got the rest of the puzzle figured out for you. I just don't have the fucking energy to build a brand, because if I call it Plum, half the idiots are programmed to hate me because I'm too just polarizing for them, because I don't care to entertain their ego anymore. But I don't, like, they can get on the train. Like, I still want the best for everyone. I just don't care to talk to them about it anymore.
That's another reason I know we were really excited to have you on. Tyler and I both know you personally, have known you for a long time. And a lot of that's obviously not portrayed through social media, right? And
for sure.
And so to have long form,
like, if the more I can see someone's true colors while if they're doing a dislike me for some bullshit meme I posted, like, good, I don't want to talk to you anyways. Like, make my life
I think
easy.
there's a way it can all happen, Damien. And
I
agree.
I agree.
Like, I'm gonna stand up for the NXL a little bit here and say,
you're paid to. You have to.
Well, I'm also they're doing.
I'm just kidding. I love you,
and I want you to also be successful. I want, if you can do it better than man, I want you to man up and do all that.
Before we go on this, let me make one statement. Like, the reality is, I wish I didn't have to build a league. I wish I could. All I want to do is play. Like, I would love to just go back to building a team and a program and build a nice sports complex and compete to the earn a pro spot and compete. But the reality is, dude, like, I don't think that's going to happen. I don't see much changing. So at the end of the day, like, you're going to defend the NXL, but let's just call it, what are they going to do? They're going to get set locations. They probably already got one in Philly. It's given to them by the city, so it's probably just dead land by the power plant that's toxic. So then we're going to give them...
Dude, it was a great field. It was a great field. And I guess what I'm trying to say is paintball needs you. It does.
It needs everyone. To me, it needs Astra.
Everyone.
It needs our plans. It needs Hinman to grow. It needs for the players. It needs Florida. It needs 15 leagues to pop up next year and let competition drive the market.
I love that we have these one-off events popping up.
Absolutely.
Because it is so good for professional paintball, especially to, it's much easier to run one event with entry fee and
start
pay
pushing
just
the
one
envelope.
division. It's much easier to have like a higher paying, because your cost is way lower, so you can pay more in prize money.
Infinite
You know what
abundance.
I mean?
We're on the new timeline, boys. Infinite abundance is never looking back.
It is for sure, and I think the NXL can still be a big part of that.
No,
And
I hope they are. I hope I hope the competition drives the market to force everyone to get better. Because at the end of the day, all that really fucking matters is the players get a better experience and the sport grows. Because then we all win.
Of course.
Shout out. Hey, we're talking about how far back we all go. How is your mom and sis doing? How's the fam?
They're good. They're good. I don't talk to them a lot anymore because I'm so busy at the farm. But we should tell the story.
I'll never forget.
You and Tally destroying.
We went. Rest in peace to Tally, my brother for life. And
I got a picture out there. I don't know if you can see it.
Dude, God bless Tally.
We'll give one detour for that.
Show Tally. We need Tally on the show for sure. Get him in here. There's Tally, repping with the OG HK jersey on, and he's a brother that is gone too soon, and he's always with us. Shout out Tally. But what I guess we go way back. I actually, dude, I think I found you and Tally before you guys started playing tournament paintball when I went out to Iowa to see my family. I went to the local field, and you guys were there.
Was that Team Products? Where was that? Do you remember what city? I can't remember the first. I remember when you came back from the tournament.
Was it Bettendorf? Not Bettendorf.
I lived in Davenport, went to school in Bettendorf, and your family lived like up the street from my mom's house, essentially. And we pieced.
So my dad grew up, in the same little quadrant that your family was at. And my dad went into the Army, met my mom in, California, and I lived out there. But I have hundreds of cousins from Iowa. So I came back out to Iowa to visit my family. I go to the paintball field, and I run into Damien and Tally at the paintball field. And I'm like, yo, let's run one-on-ones and just play paintball. I'm just for the culture out there I'm pro. There's just the locals.
Little newbie kids.
Yeah. But I played you guys, and I was like, damn, y'all are good. Like straight up, you guys need to be playing events. I want to see you guys. And then it wasn't even like, I don't know, it felt like 6 months later, I saw you guys at the tournaments, and then the rest is history, But it was cool how we all like connected on some real grassroots out in Iowa just by happenstance,
Nah, for sure. The Midwest boys hit different. They got good souls.
Yeah, baby.
Midwest, dude. It was awesome being out in Iowa and seeing your family, Tyler. Still, that's going to be a time that I cherish forever, till the end of time. That was fun, dude. It was a good time.
Iowa holds it down. I love Iowa.
They sure do.
Shout out
to Iowa.
Yeah.
All right, let's dig in. You want to dig into?
Yeah, totally.
You want a question? You want a hot take?
If you got to dig in,
I do.
I thought to dig in.
I wanted to kind of go back to the field that you're building.
Oh yeah,
Damien.
all right. Let's talk about that,
because I think this is like maybe the one thing that the NXL and actually all leagues could move towards. I think events, and I didn't used to think this, but I think events should be on turf. I think too often we're forced to play in really unfavorable conditions, and the Russians did a really nice write-up on it. I loved Kirill's, what he's been saying about playing on turf, like the Millennium used to be. Rain or shine, it doesn't affect your athleticism. You can move around the field still. These fields get so boring when it's muddy because the shooters are so good now. So nobody wants to make a move, because if you don't make a move fast and crisp and you're diving in or that first step is on point, you're getting shot. So the field just slows way down when it's muddy, So some kind of traveling turf would be amazing.
No, absolutely. And I agree with you. And that's where half the time I spent traveling, and you guys know how many hours we spent sitting in airports and sitting in airplanes, staring at the back of headrests and people's balding hairs and annoying crying babies. I was starting to think about,
I get a pod with Delta. I don't have to stare at the back of anyone's.
Must be nice. But, so anyways, yeah, I just spent a lot of my traveling time just thinking about this stuff. So to me, like, I agree with you, but I also, after I played soccer my whole life up through college. So like, to me, at the end of the day, like, in the perfect conditions, nothing will beat a perfectly well manicured, flawless grass field.
I agree.
That being said, I absolutely agree that you can't run on that year round. So that's where like our plan is to do both. Have, eventually the goal, initially the first phase is perfect turf field, a perfect flawless grass field right next to it, a 10-man hyperball field, a mounds field, right? And then we can just run
Epic.
everything you need. You can do all the cool stuff. You can bring back 7-man. The turf is big enough. We set it a little bit bigger, so like we can stretch maybe a 10-man on it. But like, to me, part of that puzzle where the game slows down is also incorporated to the format. Like, to me, the current format causes that issue. Like ramping guns, the way it's race 2, like just all of the pieces of the puzzle, the layouts, like.
Well, points are faster than they've ever been right now. The current state of paintball the past 2 years, points on average are significant. They're the fastest they've ever been. You can't argue it. Each point is on average like a minute and a half.
All right.
Honestly, I feel like I mean, you played in Orlando. There's so many big bunkers on the field. It's like you can't sit there and hold zones the way you used to be able to. Moves are rewarded. People are shaking and baking. Well, actually, I take it back. Orlando was a slow field. The final there was 2-1 for the pro. That was the first slow field we've seen in a while. So actually, I'm kind of eating my words on that one. But other than that, points have been.
Dude, I already saw it. All right, so Damien, you're going to host an NXL. We're squashing all the nonsense. You're going to be the next front runner, and you guys are going to marry together and start crushing it, dude.
I think me and Tom Cole need to have a lot of heart-to-hearts before that's going to happen.
What would you ask Tom Cole? What would you ask Tom Cole?
We have the capability to call Tom Cole right now.
Yeah.
Dude, at this point, I don't have that much to say to the man. Like after we, I don't know how much you guys heard about our little fisticuff, our little conversation we had in Florida. Like he made it clear what he thought of me, and then he didn't want to answer any direct questions. Like,
so Damien, I did talk to Tom before this. He knows that we're doing this show. We have this great capability where we can call a guest. I'm hoping he doesn't dodge it. He said he should be good, but he has a family dinner, so not 100% if he's going to be available. But we can try to give him a call and see if there's anything that you guys would like to hash out. I think getting some clarity and getting people on the same page is a big part of us moving forward as a community, as paintball, right?
Yeah. So the first question, I'm down for that. Let's do it towards the end so I can think. Because like I hadn't thought about it. I didn't put that out of my mind. But let me tell you a couple questions as I think about them. The first one I will ask him is what he said to me in the 10 and Mactiv was he told me that I used to have a voice for the players, but now I was crazy and I had lost my mind. And there is a long list of reasons, but he couldn't give one. So that would be question number one. Like there's a few things, like that he just directly said that I got, honestly, I'm going to call or text a buddy real quick. Cause like, there was people sitting there watching our conversation. Like it was 30 minutes of me like hyphy and like, I won't go too into details.
Hold on. Did you say hyphy?
Yeah, dude, I get amped up right now thinking about it.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah. Hey, that's
what happened was like, there was some questionable shit that happened to us that tournament.
And we'll keep that.
Either way, we'll get into that. Yeah. But at the end of the day on Sunday, like me and Tom hadn't crossed past this event yet. So he comes by the booth, the back of the booth, after we'd already
you guys are probably more like each other than you know.
Oh, trust me, I set up my job at Key was setting up the booth at NXL events. I was there for 4 days before the tournament started for 5 years. I know all these guys. Like that's why they don't like me. Like,
you're both hard workers. You're both passionate about paintball.
Here's the truth.
I want to hear what happened, though. Hold on a second.
Yeah. So anyway,
I want to hear what happened.
Quickly, hold on. Don't let me forget that, Marcelo. But here, Tyler, I will say this to you. Like the one thing that like I think what drives me the fucking most insane about Tom is for the most part, like I agree with you. Like Tom does, I think, truly care about paintball. I'm just to the point where I firmly believe that he cares more about his endless expense card and his salary than what's best for paintball. And I'm done listening to him try to convince me otherwise because it's been clear to me through his actions that that's true. Does that mean he doesn't care about paintball? No. But at the end of the day, he doesn't really pull the strings for the NXL. Let's just call a spade a spade.
Exactly.
So I don't really care to hear all of the bullshit. To me, half his job is just to talk people in circles. And yes, he does care. Yes, he does do good things. But at the end of the day, like to me, if you don't, sometimes put your foot down and do what's best or make the right decision or like they pay the beer girls as much as the refs. Like, let's just be real. If you pay the refs more, they'll do a better fucking job. Like half the issue. Have you guys been to a divisional field in a long time. Like that's
I have
like,
actually, yeah,
dude,
I
it's
have. I've
bad.
been over
Like
there.
when we got screwed. Okay, so back to what happened. So what happened at the NXL event was in Florida. We Sunday morning, like I pulled out in my head what was the plan on Sunday morning, right? Gave it to the Jits real nice and deep, 3-4 kills a point. That's Black Jerry. We go into Carolina Crisis match. Went up, I want to say 4-0. It might be wrong. It might have been 3-0. But anyway, like I sat a point, like just to catch a breather, and we self-destructed. We got penalty, lost points in a row. Anyways, bunch of bullshit happens. It's 4-3 us. There's like 20, 30 seconds left. So we're hoping we win the point. We see a flag fly at the end of the game. At this point, we're like, all right, Leon got a penalty. We're going to overtime. Let's get mentally prepared. Refs all have the meeting. Blah, blah, blah. Head ref comes over. It goes, all right, we all, whatever, fucking refs talked. Penalty was thrown after the buzzer sounded. Therefore, no penalty. Plum Life wins. Game's over. Like, this was posted on APPA. I was back at MacDev, de-geared, like, after this match because I was mentally moved on to the next one. Come back, like, 20, 30 minutes later. My team's geared up, frantically looking for me. I'm like, this isn't good. What's his name? Dan Perez? Okay, so one, like, he comes over and he's arguing with Cody Conklin, one of our oldest players. Honestly, I think he's the longest standing Plum Life player. Like, he's a very upstanding guy. Like, and he's very frustrated already because he's not getting a direct answer. So as I start talking to him, Dan, he said he's the commissioner, which one he's not. Jason Trozen is. So, like, he already blatantly lied to all of us. So, like, they already violated the rules, and I just haven't publicly said this to anyone yet because I was waiting for a good time to. But if you're going to make me talk to Tom Cole, like, let's give a little pre-test, everyone, of why I have harsh feelings towards Tom Cole. Let's give.
We're not going to make you talk to anybody.
No, I
don't
will.
have to get Tom on the horn.
No,
just,
I'm all down. I'm not trying to run from it. I just
it was almost
I gotta
like
get my mindset.
It was like an intervention. We're like, all right, we're gonna sit you down here.
I'll go there, but you gotta get the whole story because I get amped up, and people want them to know why I get amped up. So, anyways,
can I ask you about the penalty? What happened on the penalty?
I honestly, like, it was. Leon was in the corner, and I was walking off the field. I got shot already, so I didn't see it because it was this far side corner. And I think he just got shot by, like, they were just bringing it hard to try to win the point to tie it, right? And he could have just got shot and left the field and time would have expired. It was like bang, bang like that. But I think he got shot and, like, popped the top and, like, threw a rope at the same time. And it was just questionable, but, like, the horn, I don't honestly remember. Like, to me, it's irrelevant what the penalty was. What's relevant is, like, the head ref made a decision after talking to all the refs, right? This was posted on APPA. Like, to me, that's official.
The decision was the penalty was thrown after the horn, so no penalty can be assessed, so you guys win.
Correct, right?
Okay.
So that is the ruling on the field. This was posted on APPA. Like, anyways, so Dan Perez is standing there with the rule book saying that it's overturned. And we're just trying to understand why. And he says, well, I'm the commissioner, and because I said so.
That is a terrible reason.
And at the end of the day, there's a rule in the rule book, and I made him show it to me because like, this has happened to me before, weirdly, that, like, the commissioner has the ability to do whatever he wants. But funny is that, like, Jason Trozen is a commissioner, so how did Dan Perez make I don't even care what his name is.
I don't know. Can you have multiple commissioners, one for the pro field, one for all the divisionals? I'm not sure.
I don't know. And at the end of the day, like, I don't care because
I think Dan Perez is I know he isn't just a ref.
I know.
I know he.
I agree. He's a higher level than that, but, like, either way, to me, it doesn't matter. I don't really give a shit.
Sure.
It's just funny how, like, it always is just convenient that, like, it's whatever.
Dude, don't worry, we're not bringing Tom on the show.
No,
Damien.
we're calling Tom. I'm just giving the whole story now. So, anyways, so at the end of the day, he literally, I swear to you, the head ref starts trying to, like, tell his story while Dan Perez is standing there. He tells him to shut up. Another ref starts speaking. He shushes him. He goes, shh. And he looks at us and he goes, because I said so. Here's the rule. You guys are now playing the overtime point. Like, penalty assessed, swing point, now overtime. Hats off the Carolina Crisis. I'm not saying, like, we didn't deserve to lose. They beat us in overtime. They adjusted. That they want, good,
you got to play above the refs, baby.
Absolutely. I'm not saying that's the reason we lost. That being said, what happened was absolute bullshit.
Do you feel, Damien, that it was in part because of your public display of dislike for them and the way you are on social media? Do you think that had something to do with it?
Let's go finish this Tom Cole. Yeah, essentially, yes. Initially, I truly didn't want to believe that. I was giving them the benefit of the doubt that it was just some bullshit. I think in my core, I knew it was, right? Like, I talked to numerous other people that saw it, that had been all of this, and like, yeah, it's a 1000% them coming to get you. Like, talk to someone that was in the NXL booth that watched Carolina Crisis, like talking to Tom Cole and them, like trying to see if something could happen. Like, you know, it is what it is. Either way, I didn't want to believe that, but getting to the story of Tom Cole coming by the Mac Dev booth at the end of the event, you know, we'd already torn down. Like, he was just kind of like slowly. I was about to leave to take a gun to the pits to help out the team. So, anyways, AJ Trillett starts talking to him about what happened. He was just kind of like plays dumb, like he had no idea, even though come to find out, like clearly he had talked to Carolina Crisis, so he already knew what happened. So, you just, you know, like, what did you just forget conveniently? So, anyways, I was just waiting, you know, for the right time to intervene my opinion and my thoughts at this point. And at some point, he, you know, alley-oop came up, and I was able to jump in with a stinger. I literally, like, I had written a lot of this off, trying to not think about it, but like, we'll take like a 5-minute intervene to pee, and I'll get on my phone quick, and I'll have Slade that was sitting there that like witnessed every piece of the puzzle, like send me like the good talking points that are worth everyone hearing, because I think it's valid. It's, to me, it's, if I'm going to be painted as this crazy maniac that hates the Tom, you know, NXL and Tom Cole, like I don't hate them blatantly. I don't. Like, I think Tom Cole, as I said, does what's best to an extent. But at the end of the day, like, I just believe more should be done on all fronts. And to me, it's clear they're not going to do it either way. Like, so words are exchanged, this and that. I know numerous points that were said by him. Like, I'm sure I wouldn't say a lot of the nicest things. I know I didn't. Like, but either way, like, I was told that I was acting like a whiny customer, which I had to remind him that I was a paying customer at that event. Right? Like, to me, like, you don't talk to someone that's a paying customer. You don't say you're being a whiny customer. He told me I was crazy and lost my mind. I don't speak for the players anymore. And then after I explained to him what was like, how it was bullshit, and like ranted about what happened, he looked at me and like kind of smugly was like, well, if you don't like it, you can always just not come back. And like, that was, then I was like, Tom, I was like, I didn't want to believe that this was intentional, but like, now I believe that was, you showed your true cards now, right? Like, to me, that was where I started feeling like part of it wasn't intentional, just because I'm critical of them. And sure, like, I pushed the envelope, being too openly critical and this and that. But like, I mean, I got fired from my job.
I would definitely say you pushed the envelope, baby.
For sure. But like, at the end of the day, like, when it started, like, I got fired from Falcon for saying what I truly felt was true and the best for the sport. And like, and to me, like, that post wasn't that crazy. Like, anyone wants to go
was it? Yeah, what was it that you had said in that post? I forget the essence of it.
I don't
Obviously,
remember.
You don't have to go verbatim, but what was the topic?
I don't even. It was the NXL. Like, it was just like just a lot of things. Like, you know, the mainly it was when I was coaching the Plum Life guys. Like, I saw a lot of how terrible the divisional side had it. Like,
so dude, real quick, because I do a lot of coaching at regional events right around the country, and I have been over to the divisional side at the NXL. Usually don't have time to coach, but I'll go over and just kind of see how the teams are doing, watch a couple points. What I can say is that the NXL refs, I do believe, are some of the best refs in the country, hands down. Now, do they make mistakes, and is there stuff that goes wrong? 100%. I mean, Damien, you know how tough of a job that is. It's a tough job.
I don't hate the refs, so, honestly. Like, the refs are doing their best.
I know. So
don't much.
My point though is, do you think that, because I am remembering that post, you know, and it was so polarizing, right? And I think it was like the first time you had really spoken out.
For sure.
Right?
I spent like a day and a half like thinking about that post, and I was like, I knew there could be some backlash, you know, via my job, just because the reality is it's a small knit industry, and the NXL talks to the industry guys, and they're all they all communicate. So she calls headaches.
What had you done before that post to try to change the issue you had?
I honestly would have to pull up what the post was about to be specific, but
sure.
To me, like, when I worked in the industry, like when I started to literally just feel like I was going crazy, because like in my head it'd be like, oh, like that makes the most sense. Like, that would be good for paintball. Let's grow the sport through the youth. Like, let's do, you know, instead of like, in my head, instead of the NXL wasting, I don't know their budget, because we'll never know, but like, I feel like I got a good gut guesstimate on something. So let's say they spend $500,000 every event on creating the infrastructure of this traveling circus in the middle of nowhere, right? Like just the tents, the nets, everything, right? It's a lot.
Everything.
I'm not hating. I'm just, to me, that's just a close reality. Maybe like it's a lot of fucking parts. But to me, like my plans, we'll just bounce around. This is how my brain works. But like that issue, like to me, that sinks back to my league plans. Like I would love to just build one league out of our field and work with existing fields that have a nice infrastructure. And instead of like competing with regionals and butting heads, like let's all focus together. So let's have the league. And so like, okay, let's give a perfect example. Like let's say I'm Plum League. This is not a real name of a league. Like, well, let's just for an example. Like I'm Plum League here. I want to work with JD at PB Fit. So I'm going to say, hey, JD, like let's run one major event, reference NXL, one major event a year at your field and 5 regional events. The major event, all the pro teams come. It's, it's a big ordeal. Like the Plum League gets a bigger piece of all the pie because it's way more moving pieces, but they still don't need to make as much as near as much because you say $500,000 an event. But the 5 regional events now, the field owner gets almost all the pie because it's not, no one else is even there from the other side, but they're pushing the same entity. It's all the same shit. So then at the end of the year, all this extra, so let's say 5 events, let's say short side, they save $1 million by not having to create a circus in the middle of nowhere. You spread that between 5 fields, $200,000 a field into an existing complex. So if you say, hey, JD, here's $200,000, what can you do to make this a clean, perfect stadium looking field? Well, I'll tell you right now, $200,000 and what I know I can do with a skid steer and Mark Johnson's landscaping skills and 4 slave laborers, we can make a palace for $200,000. So you do that for a couple of years, and all of a sudden you have one giant entity of Plum worldwide.
Hold on a second. Slave labor? I don't think you can do that here.
Sorry. When I say slave labor,
that's
I do slave labor. I refer to slave labor as just like someone that'll get out there in the sun for 12 hours, regardless of it being 110 degrees. Like I was outside today at 4 o'clock beating concrete off steel posts to get a workout in because it was 105 degrees. Like to me, that's slave labor, just the hard physical labor. I don't mean physically used slaves. Sorry. Yeah, I speak in my own words over here. I apologize. Is that a better clarification? Like
we understand what you mean.
Edit that out. I don't mean to be derogatory.
No need to edit it, but yes.
Yeah. But yeah, anyways, that's what I mean. If
working hard, you're working your butt off, correct, and you're willing to do all the stuff that's difficult, and a lot of people don't want to do that stuff. They don't want to be out in the sun 12 hours a day, working their butt off, sweating,
And to me, like
hard labor.
I've my mindset's changed because I never respected growing stuff or farming, but to me, like this is hard. Like it's nonstop. You don't have a choice. It's a mental break. Like you can check out, but the plants still keep growing. So every day, like I have to wake up and I have 4 to 5 to 6 hours of the same stuff to do every morning, regardless of my emotions or how I feel or whatever else is happening in the world. So like you kind of almost have to clock out, which is kind of weird, but it's a grind. So like to me, like it's just it's different when you're not in control, but you're willing to do whatever it takes to still make it. And I feel like a lot of people don't have that grind anymore.
So a question with your idea of running these events at a local field, using your numbers, $200,000 to the local field, it's all, like JD, right?
Correct.
Which, goodness, that would be an amazing community and organization to do that with. JD's the man out of Paintball Fit, but
very strategic totally. To work with, right? Like-minded people.
So you use the money you save from building these big events in the middle of nowhere, right? You use the money you save from going to these local fields to help build those out.
Correct.
Now, how do you also make the reffing better, increase prize packages, and all the other stuff that not just you, but a lot of people are asking for?
So to me, that's where it's I get that the NX, like, and that's where like it's such a complicated conversation with the NXL.
It is.
I understand
totally.
That they have to make money. That is their goal. They're a business. Absolutely. I just, to me, I would do a million different things at this point. And let's just not even keep going in that circle because it is what it is. Like,
Yeah, I don't want this show to be the doom
I
and
don't.
gloom
I don't either.
show
I don't. And I
because
love.
at
I
the end
love
of the
that they
day,
still provide something for us to do. So I love the owners. You know, honestly, like I'll say it. Like I think Bart and Randy truly do care about paintball in the sport. And that's why they put a lot of money and effort into it. Like I don't mean to sound like I'm hating on them when I say these things, but to me, I just refer to the NXL as like what we all look at it and kind of assume it is like this giant entity that is what paintball stands for. But to me, like there actually is nothing besides the top tier of that, which isn't hating, it's just a reality. And to me, like we're missing the rest of the foundation.
and that comes from community, and that comes from all of us, you know?
Absolutely. And that's where like if in you know my mindset anymore is let's all work together. Let's all anyone that doesn't have that mindset, cool, have fun on your own. Let's move on to people that want to work
It
together and let's go get it.
Paintball is
Like,
too small. It's too small. Paintball is too small for us to have any other outcome. You know what I mean? The only outcome is unity with paintball for this thing to move forward powerfully into the future. We gotta unify. We have to. I mean, from all angles, however we can, with as much power as we can, moving into the future for the sport to progress.
no, I
You know,
agree.
and we need all these things that you guys are talking about too. We need the top of the, top of the line on all of it. That's
Absolutely.
the mission. We're pushing towards that mission. But we also, I'm especially in these days and times, man, I'm really trying to move from a space of empathy and compassion and trying to see it from all angles, because there's so much more going on than what meets the eye or the keyboard or the screens. And
Well,
we gotta no pun intended, harmonize this thing together and and make it work, baby. Like
Mhm.
that's what we have to do. We have to move forward.
Yeah, absolutely. Again, like I said, though, as well, at the end of the day, if you don't have pushback, if you don't have people that are bringing up wrongdoings, then stuff doesn't change. But again, I agree with you, Ty, and Damien, I think you do too. Everything could be done in a more unison way. I think.
absolutely. And I you know what, here, sorry to circle back because my brain is,
That's all good.
but one of the things that I spoke about with my issues with the NXL cost me my job. So like that's
Right.
one of the examples of where like I'm like I'm done kind of caring about trying it the nice way of being polite,
Well, real quick, I
and
actually did want to go.
expressing my
I wanted to go
concerns.
back. I wanted to go back
Mhm.
to that too, though. That's why I asked you if you had tried to do anything before that post, connecting with Tom Cole, connecting with people at the NXL, or was it, because I do remember, and again, I don't remember exactly what the topic of the post was, but I remember being like, "Oh, this is a controversial one," and okay, so what are your solutions then? Like, what are these issues? It To me at the time, it seemed more of just you had to get something off your chest, and you wanted people to know your side, and that was kind of the sense of it. Am I wrong?
Um, to some extent, I would agree with that, and I think what you're seeing, like as I've kind of expressed throughout the conversation already, is like you're seeing pieces of all my plans, and like these are all my
Right,
answers to like
right.
how I would fix things. Like you're seeing the field. Like
Mhm.
I've been criticizing and very vocally hating on people, and like yeah, I absolutely know I'm pushing the envelope. Like, but I'm just to the point of like I don't care anymore. Like they've already said what they're gonna say about me. It's cost me my job and everything else. Like now I'm just gonna truly say what I want. Like why not? Like everyone should just get it off their
Mhm.
chest. And to me, like that's how you create a pure competition. And to me, like I guess here's why. Like when I first, I don't think publicly I probably didn't try to say anything to Tom Cole, but like off the field, like
Yeah, not publicly.
working in
Right.
the industry, like dude, I talked to all of them. Like how it works is I didn't get you don't get a
That's
you
fair.
don't get
Yeah,
a seat
that's
at the
true.
table,
Right.
dude. They fly to Vegas and expense $50,000 and sit around a table and all talk about how cool they are for 3 or 4 days. And it's people that don't go to the divisional pits or care about it. Like half those guys hate tournament paintball, but yet they're making the decisions for it. Like, and I don't criticize them for hating it. They just want to run a business, and tournament paintball is a complicated beast. Like, I understand that. But at the end of the day,
I,
then don't make decisions for something you hate, because you're not going to truly do what's best for it. You're going to do what's financially best for what you're trying to figure out on the other side. And we're all paying the price of dealing with it. Like,
I don't think it's fair to say they hate the game or hate paintball or anything of
I,
that sort. I don't think that's fair, Damien. And honestly, they got to push back on that a little bit too. But now, do they maybe prioritize different things? Maybe they prioritize the profits,
can I say
over.
one? while working inside the industry, I will not name names because I still am friends with all these guys, but I do know there's numerous people that do have some sort of decision making that, like, if they had a choice, they would just not deal with tournament paintball, because from where they have to deal with it inside the way the industry's structured, it's such a headache for them that they just don't care.
Totally. Yeah.
And
There's a
to
difference
me,
there than hating it, though, right? That's a
but yes,
there's a difference.
here, preface. Like, I say a lot of leaping, generalizing terms, and I typically don't mean them to the extreme. I just don't know a quick way to summarize it. But, like, I fully acknowledge, like, they don't hate it with all of their heart. I just don't. So
You understand, though, to be taken seriously with your platform and who you
yeah,
are.
no,
You've
no,
been
I got that.
prominent,
That's where, like,
prominent
on
figure.
when I write things down, I have time to think it through. You get me ranting
Sure.
on a podcast. That's why I don't like doing it. I like it. If you're gonna get me flowing, I can't think about throttling myself. Like, that's
Yeah, fair.
I can
But
think it through, well articulate it, but I don't have to sit here and think
Fair.
about it for a second. But if you want me to
Fair.
give you the pure raw, like, I can't think
hey,
about
dude,
it.
we love the pure raw.
Yeah,
Again, like I said, yeah, gonna push back,
No,
where I see
absolutely.
necessary, and just on my own beliefs and opinions. But
That's
again,
fair. Your pushback typically is catching my leaping statement, so I'm all for it. Like, I welcome it.
awesome, good. Where were we?
Well, first of all, Damien, I just want to say, bro, you love paintball. That's
more than
known.
anything.
You love paintball, and that, sometimes it comes off maybe a little bit different than people can digest it, or whatever you want to, however you want to say that.
No, I absolutely understand. That.
But you do love this game, and I know that, and we know that you love paintball. So, it's just a growing process. I think, like, we're all growing, right? We're all becoming better. Like we talked about before the show, man, we're all moving forward and trying to create the most supreme reality we can while we're here on this earth, and within the industry, in life, all of it. So it's going to be a journey, but I know that if we just try to, like I said, now more than ever, dude, we need to have that empathy for things.
Does it
and
make
then we
you
can
feel better if I'll publicly state that a lot of my extreme hating of NXL is over now? Like, I'm to the moving on stage. Come NXL Chicago.
You're getting over the breakup.
Come NXL Chicago, if more bullshit happens, like, I'll absolutely put them on blast fully, blatantly. I don't care. Like, but
you're gonna play. You're gonna return.
Yeah,
you're still a paying customer. Yeah, look,
I care. This is got
you, dude.
Here, circle
they
back.
Got
this
you.
Is one thing
How are they gonna change if you don't? If you're still showing up, they got you, bro.
Here's one thing that I said to Tom Cole in our rant. I said, where he doesn't understand me is that, like, regardless of how much I disagree with him and will hate some of the shit the NXL does and this and that, like, I will always love paintball and the competition and the culture of paintball more than that. And to me, like, I'm not going to let my ego prevent me from doing what I truly fucking love to do and feel I'm meant to do.
Well,
So,
and I
at
love
the end of the day, like, I showed up to Florida. I didn't say a word. I was done. I didn't, like, we got fucked. I didn't post about it. Like, how much have you heard me talk about that? To me, this was a big Tom Colin, right? Like, but I didn't go out there and put him on blast. I'm trying to, like, wait for the right time to woosah. But
I love that you're transmuting that energy and you're using it to power yourself forward. You built a field, like, right, you know what I'm saying?
I'll be honest.
For the love of paintball.
Todd's done a lot of most of the physical work, almost all of it. So that I don't want to act like it's all of mine. I'm involved in it, but either way,
of course. So yeah,
I'm creating a lot of things. There's a lot in the back burner of a lot of paintball plans, and
I see you having an NXL event there pretty soon, and I'm stoked to come out there and run around at the field.
Is it cool if we put Tyler on blast more? Not on blast, but in the hot seat. Why are you so pro NXL all of a sudden, Tyler?
NXL's this dude. Are you kidding me?
I'm gonna handle this because it's like the fourth time you've said it, and I've given him shit as a joke. But Tyler is just pro paintball, dude.
I know.
We're on the same. We're on the same mission here, and it's. I think understanding that if you do want change, you need to have respect from the people that you want change from. Otherwise, they're not going to listen to your ideas, right? They just aren't. And so,
is it a fair statement to say that we've all played within this current regime? It's changed names. It's changed formats, but for the most part, minus the newest owners of the NXL, but it's still a lot of the same everything else until then.
It's not though. The NXL is completely different than the PSP, and really, if we want to talk, I thought the PSP was doing a fantastic job up until.
I don't disagree with that. I think at this point, I would prefer that for the most part than what we've had for the last couple of years. Honestly, like to me, that was a lot more. The
pros and cons of each,
yeah,
for
absolutely.
sure.
But the
pros and cons
webcast,
of each.
the webcast seems to be a lot more attempted to be more professional and more.
Well, the reason is because the PSP took ownership of the webcast of Paintball Access, and so they actually paid for that out of their pocket, whereas the NXL doesn't. It's Go Sports and the NXL are two separate entities, right?
Right.
So Go Sports comes to the event and does their thing, but the NXL doesn't prioritize that, which that's a discussion to have. I mean, I think the NXL should prioritize that. I think that should be.
But should we go next level on that and dissect the realities behind that? So let's talk about that. Who owns Go Sports? When did Go Sports created, and who owned the NXL at that time?
So before you go into these wormholes, I'm going to stand up for myself and just say that I appreciate the NXL because it provides a tremendous platform for me to push paintball across the globe. To be honest, I feel like there's more kids and adults and just people in general that are watching paintball than ever before right now. And I think that, the webcast that they're using right now has a big reason as to why that is. I think that they are getting a lot of optics on it.
Okay. All right. I will agree with you on that. But can I ask then, would you also agree that being said, everything could be exponentially better that we play on, that we deal with from outside, just the way it's presented? To me, that's
of course,
right.
Of course.
So then I guess I'm just here. Let me make this simple. I'm just to the point of exhaustion.
You're pushing it.
I'm to the point of exhaustion of trying to work with the existing situation, because I just don't firmly believe that they're going to actually truly listen and try to do what's best in the same way that I view and believe that. So, when I say my opinions and I get publicly criticized for it, it just reaffirms that they don't want to hear it. Tom Cole, told me I was crazy, told me I don't speak for the players anymore, said numerous things to me publicly at Florida the first time I'd come back in 2 years. And to me, I tried not to stir the pot majorly before I went to the event so nothing would happen.
Yeah. But you like stirring the pot. It's fun.
Oh, I love it. Absolutely. We'll make the team pay. To me, I can separate. I can compartmentalize. These guys can't.
Mm-hmm.
I think they're fighting and walking on, an extreme tightrope of making sure they're making enough profit to keep it sustainable. And obviously they have salaries, but you know what? They should have salaries as well. They run the biggest paintball event. And that's what businesses are for. They are to make money. And there's a tightrope of, making sure the venues are and I got to say the NXL venues, the venues themselves, I'm talking about the atmosphere and how big they are and the way they feel, how big the pits are, all that kind of stuff has been excellent, right? Now, we could have the conversation of what's more priority, that or say the playing surface, or that or the webcast.
Can I say something just before we get into any of these specific compartments?
Sure.
I will agree with you, but I will say to me, you're saying excellent in a sense of what we've all experienced up until this point of paintball. And
yes.
I won't really disagree with that. That being said, I played college soccer. I've everyone that's seen professional stadiums and a million other parks and everything else, to me, if you compare us to that, we're still way down here. So I'm just done accepting that conversation, and no one just seems to understand my mindset of sure, cool, you're the best. You're the coolest stupid person of the loser group. I don't want to be there. I want to go over there.
Big question, because I guarantee you, if you gave, let's say Tom Cole, because he is the president of the NXL and puts all of this stuff together. Say you gave him $10 million. Do you think that he would not be running the most elite events that you're talking about? Don't you think they would be in stadiums and stuff like that? True question. If you gave him $10 million, do you think you would see that
tomorrow, from the NXL? If you said
say $100 million, let's really
$100 million. I would like to say yes. To me, that would make sense. I think they're trying. I think that's back. conspiracy theory, like industry talk, is I'm fairly certain that's the plan with the Philadelphia location, is make it a permanent location. Like, yeah,
Correct.
to me, that is the right move. But to me, like,
totally very excited about that location.
You know, like, let's just call a spade a spade. Like, did you pay for the land or was it free?
But why does that matter?
Because
if it ends up being a great venue, why does it matter?
It doesn't, but what matters is how it's portrayed if it's misleading. And to me, that's the issue. To me, they constantly seem to be misleading this way. When if you just said, hey, like, the great city of Philadelphia gave us this location to make a permanent one, we're going to work with them. Like, that would be cool. It should be a great location. But, like, don't act, like, I feel like it's going to come out and be like, we got this location for a permanent location. Like, it's just the little things. Like, either way, yes, it's great that they're starting to do this. But so am I. So are other people. Like, a lot of, you'll see, like,
of course, and it's only going to make it better for everybody. So
I guess
only competition is. That's why, honestly, when there was 7-man and
it was the
PSP,
best.
When we had both leagues, like, it was a pretty good time. You know, I remember back then, though, we were always up. I feel like we were upset, though, because we were like, you know, you're eating each other. There should just be one league to be the biggest league. You know, we're always complaining about.
There's always something.
There's always something.
Well, I think what happened was, like, you consolidated
now
leagues, but it shrunk at the same time. So, like, you didn't get the cash flow of both leagues at the same time to merge into one. The industry and the economy, like, it wasn't the industry's. Some, you know, whatever. That's a whole long blame.
Right.
But anyways, like, I think that's what happened.
And looking back, it's, you know, I wish there were 2 professional leagues that were both elite, because you hold each other accountable. It's what's best, right?
Yeah,
people are going to play what's best. And I think what you're seeing nowadays, you know, even though team counts are higher than ever at NXLs, I mean, that's a little inflated because it's a lot of the same players, right, that are playing the 5-man, the 3-man, the 10-man.
Exactly.
So the team count is a little inflated, but participation is definitely up. The NXL is doing a great job of getting more and more teams.
For sure. Absolutely.
For sure.
And that's
you might even see a GOAT squad running around there pretty soon. There's been rumors.
Shout out to the GOATs. You're going to see the GOAT squad.
What's 100%. The GOAT squad?
Oh,
we have like a chat room, the GOAT chat room.
All right.
Yeah.
Shout out
it's part of the PTG
baby.
Discord. Yep. Shout out to the GOATs.
What noise is a goat make? Bah.
Bah.
You got it,
dude. Yeah, baby.
We have these,
that's actually how we end all of our calls, is we go, bah, you know,
we
bye.
have these super cool play the game wristbands with the little GOAT logo for all of our GOATs.
All right.
Yeah.
I can get down with the GOAT squad.
Yeah, dude, we got bands. Dude. We got a band for you too, brother.
No, I won't wear it. Thank you, though.
At least you're honest.
Come on, man.
I don't want you to waste. I don't wear wristbands.
At least he is honest.
Dude, I would run around naked all day if society would, like, allow it. Like, I hate wearing clothes. They're just restricted.
Before the show, you hardly had any clothes on, man.
I know. You can't feel the flow of the energy around you with shit on you.
That's fair. That's fair. Man, okay, so I want to dive back into that question, though. So, because I was going somewhere with that as far as, you know, if you give Tom Cole X amount of money, are you going to see the league that you want to see? So I think we can all agree we would, right?
Me personally would never agree with that. There's no way that Tom Cole's going to build what I would envision to do with $100 million. I will never agree with that.
Different. Okay. I think that's a different conversation, right? Yeah. So my point is, would you see the better reffing? Would you see the better playing surfaces? That kind of stuff, I think you for sure would. Now, maybe
yes, okay, I would agree with that. To some extent, yes.
So and the NXL refs are better than they've ever been. I don't know what's going on the divisional field, but
I mean,
our refs are crushing.
I don't think it's the lack of quality. From my understanding in the Florida event, and like you know, another piece of the puzzle to connect in the paintballs, like, I've talked to B Youngs from Destiny a lot. Like, she's got a great relationship with a lot of people, and we
love B.
She was very physically, you know, frustrated and emotionally upset via numerous reasons, and like one of them is our D2 team, KC Missouri All Stars, played a point with I think 4 or 5 refs on the field.
Yeah, that's not good.
Like, that's not good. They could be the best 5 refs on the field, but you have 5 guys with no eyes on them. Like,
okay, so back to, guys, let's stay on track a little bit here. So increasing reffing, we'll just stick there, right?
I think,
where are you going to bridge the gap to do that? How in your league are you going to have better reffing?
I think I don't have the exact answer. Obviously, I have my thoughts and my ideas. I think ideally you would work with, you know, get a program, get whoever's in charge of all the refs called me. Like, I don't know who. Like, my head goes.
Dan Perez.
Yeah, not him. Like, who actually like speaks for the people of the refs. He told his head ref to shush. Like, that's not someone that's a leader to me. Anyways, like, to me, my head goes. You remember NXL, not NXL, PSP. What was his name? Schroepfer, Corinne's dad.
Yeah.
Like,
100%. Remember him?
I can't remember his name.
Mike? Was it Mike?
No, maybe.
Chauffeur.
His wife was Marlene. Like, to me, like, that was someone that tried to bridge both sides fairly. Like, he tried to speak for the refs and the players and the industry. Like to me, that doesn't exist anymore. Like, anyone that you talk to is on payroll of the NXL. So, like, not to hate on them, but, like, I just truly don't think.
But the refs are going to be on payroll to the NXL.
But they're paid $150 a day. Like, they don't get.
Okay, so
they don't get paid jack shit. Like,
this is what we're getting to. So it comes down to paying the refs more.
I think,
which I agree with. I think they have such an incredibly tough job.
To me, this is how growing the plant has literally taught me to view everything. Like, to me, there's no one answer to like any complicated puzzle. Like, if something goes wrong, there's one thing that happened, but then that causes a bunch of other things. There's 10 different things that all cause the issue. So, like, yes,
ripple
I
effect,
think paying ripple effect XRP to the sun, baby. You talking about crypto?
This is not financial advice, but shout out to my XRP stash that I got like 3 years ago.
Buy XRP.
Shout out to that
it's going.
One time.
How big's your bag, baby?
You cannot tell people to buy XRP, buddy.
You can't do that.
This is not financial advice. Hey, Damien,
it's my opinion. It's my opinion. Do what you want, but you should do it if you were smart.
Oh my God! Once again, this is not financial advice.
Yeah,
is it like illegal to say that? Honestly,
there's some fine lines of
okay, not
telling
financial
people to go buy something and then it doesn't work. You, Damien, would be liable.
Financial advice, not financial advice.
Yeah, I like 3 years ago bought a couple $1,000s in XRP and just said I was not going to check it for like 10, 15 years. And in this last little crypto run where Bitcoin went all the way up to 60 grand, I forgot about that wallet. I went over and looked at it and just eyes wide open, dude.
But I can't. 3 grand years ago.
I can't buy or sell it.
Is it on uphold?
Well, it's because they're under investigation. XRP is under investigation by the SEC.
I'll add you after this. We don't go down this rabbit hole, but I'll add you to a Telegram group that like is all of the wizards of the crypto world, and that's all based around XRP, XLM, and XTC. Like, it's going to control the flow of money throughout the entire world. Like, it is going to be the gold.
My big reasoning for XRP is because American Express uses their technology. So I was like,
Amazon that got deals with all sorts of foreign banks.
Yeah, so we'll see. We'll see. So,
dude, if you bought 3 grand, hold on, let's backtrack that. You got a big bag of XRP sitting around.
It was a good bag. Yeah, it's a good bag.
A couple $100,000 here.
No, it's not that much. Maybe it was 2 years ago. Maybe I'm a little off.
You should get honestly.
But it's a good bag.
Get one of these.
Bag. What's that? What do you got?
It's an external wallet, so like you can put it in, like you can take it off the exchange. So like you're in control of it. So like if you lose this, it's gone. But if the internet goes out, like that's also not yours. Like
that's also which could happen, dude. That's a rabbit hole we can dive down because to me, for all the listeners here, Damien already ducked down. If the grid goes down, we are in some serious trouble.
I'm gonna love it, dude. I'm ready. I'm gonna enjoy it.
Damien, so look, I agree with you. It's actually how I approach everything in my life that I want to get better at. When kids at clinics ask at the end of the day, they say, what's the one thing I need to work on? I look at them and say, one, never asking that question again because it's faulty, right? You should be working on everything. I still show up to the field and I work on everything. I work on snap shooting, running and shooting, off the break shooting, sliding, diving, movements. I work on everything. Timing, right? So you have to work on everything. That is how you do really improve. But you have to know how to take each little step along the way in different directions. So again, reffing is just a small component of that and how you improve the reffing. So you're saying you think it's paying them a little bit more?
I think you got to compensate them. Not, I'm not saying give them $5,000 a day, right? But like maybe $250, $300 a day to the beginner rep. I don't know how it all works. Like I'm sure we could get someone on that will speak for the refs. Let's start getting, people that want to just get better things out here. Let's just start improving stuff. But anyways,
okay, so that is an extra $3,200 per field for 8 refs just to increase it by $100. I'd even do $150, right? So if it goes from 150 to 250, you say 8 refs on a field, which I don't even think is quite enough. I think honestly you need about 10 refs on
I
a
would say a
field.
ref per player is the only way to really have, you know, an
Yeah.
obviously eyes on everyone.
So we're looking, you know, we have about 8 fields. You're looking at an extra 25 grand just to increase each ref's pay by about $100, right? Where does that money come from? Again, if we're putting, you know, much of that money back into infrastructure, it's just tough, right? Because I'm with you, I agree, but
that's where if you say,
how do we
remember our infrastructure number? $1 million was very small if they're spending $500,000 in events. So let's say there's another $1 million in a bucket to make better. Like, to me, another way to do this is like, it's a very complicated beast because the industry needs the paint manufacturers. But like in my head, like I'm going to try to control the paint with one sponsor, brand it through the league, and everyone just has 2 options. It's fair. There's no lots. It's no backdoor deals of who gets the hidden lot in the back of truck B or who's, you know, like,
I support that.
That's the reality, dude. The best teams and the people.
They just did that at Astra, I think.
But they get choice of the best lots of paint. Let's just call a spade a spade. If you guys are paint truck guys, if you know them and you work for the company, you get a better choice. Like, sure, I benefited from that. Like, absolutely. At some points, like that helps me win tournaments because I worked the paint truck because it was my job. Like, but at the end of the day,
dude,
like,
it still blows my mind that we haven't figured out the paintball to where, like, you know,
and that's what, like,
we have. Yeah, it's a money thing. That's all it is. Yeah, 100%.
It's a race to make it as cheap as possible. I can't speak for sure.
We know how to make a great paintball that is consistent and is top of the line
every time.
Honestly, like that's where I'm at. We've gone through a lot of people, and the 2 people I want to work with is Hinman or Defy with Bobby over there, and just put more money back into a higher quality paintball. And sure, it's going to cost you a little bit more, but like if you cut out the 14,
don't forget to buy HK, baby. They're making some hot paintballs over there too. Shout out.
I mean, if we really want to get going, who makes their paint? Let's just don't say things if you don't want the full fucking conversation, Tyler. Let's just stay away from that, huh? All right, cool. So anyway,
is it a secret? Is it a secret though? I don't even know.
I don't know. I'd rather just not. I don't want to make more enemies. I still got some friends, maybe.
Dude.
Burn it down. Burn it down.
Look it. We got the applause going for you. We got the applause going for you, baby. Take a bow. Take a bow. There we go.
Hawk, I need more medicine.
We haven't even dove into your paintball career because you have had one hell of a paintball career, dude.
I haven't done it all yet. I got to win a
I know,
series.
But dude, seriously, like, and it's like, for me to say this, it means a lot because I think you're one of the better paintball players that has played this game. You really understand how to play it, and fundamentally, your gunfighting abilities. You're a great paintball player. So I want to dive in. If Marcelo, is this cool? We start diving
totally cool. I just want to say that my math was off on the refs because I did 4 days instead of 3 days. Just want to throw it out there because I know I'm going to get fact checked.
Oh, wow, okay. High?
But yeah, it was a little high, but still it would be around 2,400 instead of 32 per field.
So let's say 100 grand a year maybe to bump the refs. All right.
Sure.
So
okay. Right.
We got to save the NXO 100 grand a year. Cut out all the beer girls. I mean, I appreciate
beer girls are great though. You don't think so? I mean, people love the beer girls.
Absolutely. Yeah. But at the end of the day, what are we there for? Like,
that's true.
Like, let's just, if we have to. So look, if we're
think there's some people there that want to have a couple beers.
I think there's probably a lot of people that would rather have beer girls than.
Well, and again, I think that's where another complicated conversation comes into play. Is I believe that I think there's a lot of people at those events that are there to hang out and party, and that's fine. But we need to separate the people that aren't there to do that, because you have these people that have passion and drive and give their life to this, going to these events, and you have people that are there to party in the same division and owning the league, not owning the league, but like involved in the industry. And it's just, you look around, you're like, wait, what? Like, when I was first, go ahead.
You know something that I totally just cut you off on this, but cool. The idea had popped in my head about reffing that I think would be a free way to make reffing infinitely better. What do people not want to have happen? People don't want to be publicly shamed and put on blast for their mistakes.
Oh yeah, shame them.
So look, the pro refs, one, They should be glorified for what they do because
Absolutely.
they keep up the integrity of our game. Pro refs are fantastic. The NXL refs, yep, applause for them. We're going to give them some boom,
we got
boom.
an applause
There we
for
go.
that.
Some applause. I think like we should have full biographies and stuff that's done on the webcast even, you know, hi, I'm head ref Marcelo Margot. I've been reffing for 10 years, you know, 15 years. I've done this, and that. Here's my accolades. Boom. Give these guys a little bit of a platform and a little bit of a way to represent themselves. You know what that does? That makes other refs, divisional refs, want competition. It makes them aspire to get on that pro field.
Yeah, absolutely.
You get on that pro field, now you hold weight. Guess what happens if you start building your brand as a ref on the pro field because you're on the webcast, you're constantly making good calls. You know, you can
you could sell ref gear, ref
right, and that's where like
not only that, but listen,
pushes.
Yeah, but here's what happens: these foreign leagues, and that's one of the best things our game does. We get to travel internationally to play the game of paintball. Refs do it too. I know quite a few refs that travel down to Colombia, over to Asia, just to ref because you know they're the NXL refs, right? So if we made that an easier thing for them to do, refs would aspire to be really good because they want to get on that pro field.
No, absolutely.
That's free. That's free. That's free. We can implement that right now. I'm writing that down. We gotta talk to Jason about that.
To me, like the answer to a lot of these simple things is effort. And at this point,
ref
like
profiles.
Like to me, if let's hey, head of the ref people like actually that speak to the refs, create a union. Like start giving you guys a value. Like not a formal union, but just all get on the same page of what you want, and then say, "Hey, this is what we want." Like it's just got to start somewhere. Like as you said, Tyler, let's work together. Like I'm not saying get in a union and blackball the NXL. I'm just saying the more you guys can structure yourselves to say, "Hey, like this is the steps to become a ref. This is the program." That like Marcelo was saying, this is the plan. Like then we can all help grow that. But right now, like how many refs' names do people know? Like
No, I think that's a pretty tremendous idea, actually. That's
all they do is get yelled at, get shot all day, don't get paid, get
Give
paid.
them the shine.
Yeah, like it's
give them their shine. They deserve the shine.
Job, and they don't get real much street cred.
It's so difficult. Hey, shout out to Rainey. I saw Rainey out there running around out at the Astro event, man.
Shout out to Rainey, dude.
I
love that picture. I saw Rainey with like a flag in his hand, pointing at somebody like, "Don't make me do it."
I think his current IG was like, "Guess you'll just have to do it yourself." But like, I'll guarantee you, he was. I bet I haven't talked to anyone that played it, but like, I bet he all did. I bet Randy did a great job. Like, I
heard it was the best reffing ever, dude. Yeah, I mean, people have been. Well, you know, that's another thing too. It's gonna be really hard to find somebody that knows the game better than Rainey, you know, and better than any one of us can go on the pro field. And reffing's a different animal. I've done it, you know, even as a pro, and you miss stuff. It's tough. You do have to learn some nuance and angles and things like that in its own right.
Yeah.
But I mean, you know, I can see Rainey being out there with maximum effort, running around, you know, doing whatever he can.
It's a hard gig, man. Shout out to the refs out there for sure. Damien, how did you get into this crazy game? Like how did it all start?
All right.
How old were you?
10, birthday party.
Hey, we got a birthday.
It wasn't one of my friends. It was like my friend was Melissa McFedries. We're gonna sing a couple weird connections. All right. I want to say it's Andrew McFedries, the MMA fighter. Robbie Lawler. Sorry, Robbie Lawler. He is the cousin of Melissa and Trevor McFedries, but Melissa was my friend and her brother was going to birthday party. Sorry, I get ranting. And she's like, "Hey, you want to come with me to my brother's party?" And I was sure. And I was like, dude, I've always been like stick skinny and scrawny, and like I was this scared little kid, and it was this crappy little indoor, like one field, rotting wood with oil, just 3 inches of oil everywhere because they never cleaned it. But like there was this catwalk, and like I found the spot where like I crawled upstairs and I came across this catwalk, and there was a hole in the floor. And like no one could come from behind me. So there was like one path to me, but everyone walked underneath me. So all day I got to the spot and I just domed people on the top of the head.
Oh my God.
Dude, I like my first time ever playing, I probably killed, 100 people by the end of the day because it was 30 on 30 and like a little like, building smaller than this one probably.
Hold on, wait. You mean eliminated, right?
Yeah, sorry, okay? Eliminated.
Okay?
Yeah. I'm in farm. Okay? I'm in. Yeah, they're still living.
Yeah. Okay.
Eliminated.
Dude, so hold on. There was a catwalk at your very first.
Like all it was one field, and it was just like a wood fort inside this metal building, and it just had like
you found the hole
and 2 stories of paths, and like there was no plan to it. They just built a bunch of stuff. And I just found like a spot upstairs where like I could see a hole under like a catwalk, people walking underneath me, and it was the other team, and they all funneled through the spots. So every time I would just go up there and just go tink, 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 tink.
Dude, you were hacked the system there on your first day.
I'm like glitch in the matrix.
Yeah. And then how did it progress? Like, you played that one time. Did you play more?
Yeah,
like,
we had a group of friends that like all went together after that, and then I played in the woods, but we had a group of friends that kind of all just agreed because none of us had money. It's an expensive hobby, right? So like,
hold on, talk to me about the woods ball stuff. I
played 6 or 7 years in the woods and like rec fields
Yeah.
before I ever played airball
Totally.
or tournament stuff. Like, to me, that's still more fun right now than the current style, just because there's more creativity, there's more thinking, there's more hunting, like there's more outsmarting someone than just shooting a bounce shot and the fundamental skill. But either way, like, where was I ranting? So there's a group of friends of us that like we all played. Remember when N64 you could like you would hook TVs and play like bonds?
Yeah.
Like, so we had a group of us that would do that all Friday and Saturday night, and then we'd go play paintball Sunday as a group, and we would just go play every Sunday that we could. We did that for years. And then we finally played a little 3-man woods ball tournament, and like got 3rd or 4th out of like 20 teams, and we were just newbie little kids with like spider. Like, I had a spider shutter for 6 years, and we were playing dudes with like matrices and like all the tournament dudes that all thought they were sweet, and they were like, all right, we're pretty good at this, huh? Like, and then we just kept going through the ranks and playing.
What year did you start, and then like what time frame was the woods ball? Like, what years were those?
Hold on,
during. So if you were 10,
I was born in 87, so like 97, 98 to like 2003, 2004, or maybe even before that. I think my first APPA is like 2003. It was the first one. Like, what's your APPA number?
Like on the back of my NXL card,
like the one that's
7083.
7.
And Tyler's is 3 digits, I think.
Yeah, I'm 985.
389.
Hey, dang, early bird.
You've been with the NXL.
Yeah,
day one.
Since day one,
That's
bro.
what I'm saying. I've been a ride or die. Like, I don't.
Yeah,
I'm just.
Yeah.
Dude, we're gonna find a way to have you guys work together and to move this thing forward, where we're just boosting and pushing each other.
See if that.
Come on, baby, let's go.
We'll see.
So and the reason I want to talk about woods ball is because I think it is so important for players to play in the woods, man.
Absolutely agree.
Yeah,
crucial.
It's fundamentally, it just rounds you off to where you have these different layers. You got to grit it out a little bit more, crawling through the thicket and the shrubbery and the sticks, and
you got to work for your elimination. You got it's earned, right? It's kind of the same sense of like, to me, like carrying your own water. Like in the woods ball, like you earn your elimination. Like sometimes in speedball you earn it. Sometimes you just get a kill, your elimination. Yeah. Sometimes you just shoot a bounce shot and it works.
We could call them kills.
Dude.
It is funny, Ty. I don't know if you saw the latest Quitski post. It was exactly what we're talking about. Our verbiage with this stuff. Yeah. Well, we could talk about it later.
I think you censor nothing. Just let it rip, dude.
Our verbiage. Look, I'm not a fan of censorship at all. I think the antidote for bad speech is good speech, better speech. You know, I don't like censorship one bit. Yeah. You know, I don't think you should silence people. But at the same time, I think depending on your position and what you represent, you should be responsible with your platform and understand how your words might be portrayed and taken by people that look up to you. But as far as like watering down our game and stuff like that, I don't agree. But there's definitely some verbiage that is just outdated, and there's a reason the NFL has a set list of codes that are acceptable, you know, because they know they're going to be on national television and kids are at home with their families and they're going to hear, you know, Omaha, you know, and they don't want Omaha to be something else, you know?
Yeah. Here's another perfect example of like, I won't disagree with that. I feel like the current situation with the industry is like, that should exist, but it doesn't. So then everyone feels, I feel like, not everyone, but like people then, you know, have the ability to be like, well, there's no rules. I want this way.
Right.
And then when they do that, it's fine. But if it upsets the wrong person or it's too extreme or it gets viral, then all of a sudden this side, the industry goes, oh no, there's repercussions for that. And everyone else is like, but you just made that up. Like, that's, again, like, to me, that's how that situation works out. And because of lack of effort, lack of foundation, you have this unknown, and
that's fair. If it's a problem,
it plays out in reality, and then we get to like someone gets screwed, like the same as how I lost my job for saying what I thought was true. I don't agree with what Jesse said. I don't think it was in good taste. Not to bring that up, but like that's just a good example
Sure.
of using
Right.
your platform. Like I
Right.
think it got blown out of context, but at the end of the day, like I think to my personal opinion is, I'll just give it free marketing advice to those who want to listen. Like to me, the way Team USA handled the response publicly to, I don't even know who the doxer girl is that like seemed to like, I heard she was like, they were calling all of the girls on Team USA's like jobs, like they took it to the
Yeah, pretty
extreme. Like
crazy.
that
Pretty crazy
is
where they went with that.
ridiculous.
Yeah.
Like to me, like
That's a whole nother level of
right,
bullying, you
like
know? Like, what do you think
you are
the thing you
doing what
initially
you're
had an
hating
issue
on.
with? Yeah. You went tenfold. There should be repercussions for that for sure. You know,
Correct. But
it's
so
Yeah,
okay.
Jesse cannot be saying, bullying people like that on the internet. It's just
here's how my brain dissects that situation. I will, and being a team member on Team USA publicly and how it is now portrayed has been trying to be professionalized and more legitimate. Like, congrats, that's a good thing. But I bet, I don't know, but I'll bet there's still no set ground rules of what you just said, right? Like the NFL, everyone has these codes of conduct. Like I'm not, personally, I don't really want that to happen because I'll violate every one of them. But from the greater good view, like they should exist for the professional
They should, absolutely.
and the league standpoint. That being said, this situation, they didn't. If they didn't, let's assume they didn't, because I don't think they do. They may, but like, let's assume they didn't. So then that happened. Their initial response to me was proof of lack of foundation, because they tried to me, like they kind of tried to play it politically correct and not go either way with like, she's cut
In
instantly.
the first release,
correct. To me, like
yeah.
your first release has got to be one way or the other. You can't show
Totally
uncertainty. And the second that happened, Doxer lady went, woo! Like she smelled blood in the water, and then you saw the repercussions. Like paintball got put in a bad light. That's not what paintball is. Like, is it does paintball, people that speak their minds? Yeah, for sure. Like you're gonna get a dose of culture every field you go to. But to me, that's why we love it. Like that should be embraced. We just got to throttle back a little bit on some fronts. Like, perfect example, the league that we're trying to do, in my plans, in my head, the rule, and I'm number one advocate for medical marijuana at this point. But if I can say this, I feel like no one can argue with it then. Like, no smoking in the pits, no smoking anywhere publicly at the field. We're going to build a dope little trendy landscaped hangout hidden in a corner where everyone can go smoke weed, because the reality is some people hate it. And if you have that everywhere, you're going to keep a lot of people away. It just makes it look not professional. Like, unfortunately,
Totally.
I don't think it should matter, but it does. So until that stigma changes,
yeah, top priority, like at any field or like, on our social networks.
But to me, like you have.
Hold on, you're missing me. What I'm trying to say is the top priority at any fields or with any of our platforms is holding the utmost integrity and trying to, we're already at such a disadvantage. I've said this countless times. We shoot paintball guns. We are a niche kind of crazy sport.
We're the degenerates to some levels, but that's...
I don't know. I think I'm pretty. I'm okay. But yeah, it's just we've got to just shoot this thing in the right direction with as much power as we can from all angles. We can't be having anything that's pulling us back. We're already kind of at a disadvantage, and we just got to really strive for greatness, dude. We got to shoot for perfection with this thing.
Commit to holding the higher timeline.
Absolutely. Always, and that goes from, from, like I said, the social to the field. We got to be just going for it, man.
No, I'll agree with that. Absolutely. But so, circle back, all these things, sync to me and help me think of things. So like, to circle back, like, I'll entertain a conversation with NXL and those things. Like when I feel like their efforts show that that's what's happening, but it's not. I have done this too. Like I have walked through the pits drinking beers. But at the end of the day, it's because it's allowed and it's encouraged and it's part of the culture. But then to allow that and then at the same time say like we need to be professional and get outside sponsors, like you can't do that. It's confusing because it's not how that works. Like you can't be taking professional with the beer in your hand. Like
the professionals can't, and I don't think the professionals do. Well, but as far as like walking around the venue, is that I just want to be clear on what you mean.
Like if you were to walk through a NXL event pits. Not saying the pro field, but like if the NXL is the premier venue and event,
right,
and you don't know
right.
anything, and you just were to pick someone from, you know, the city and walk them through a pit, like odds are you're going to see someone drinking a beer, smoking a joint, you know, whatever. Like, how does that look? You're going to then tell them your professional sport. They're going to be like, what? Huh?
Look at skateboard culture though. You know,
Right,
if you look at that, that's how it was, and it's in the Olympics now.
for sure. But so I guess that's then where we, again, there's no defining entity. So what do we want to define paintball as a culture and an industry? Like, that's another conversation. Do you want to be skateboarding?
Totally, it
or
is.
do you want to be hockey?
Right.
Like,
I agree with that. Yep. We
no one
do need to
knows.
pick
Like,
a direction.
right, so
You're right.
some-
You're right. We need to decide how we want to package this whole thing,
Tyler, this is
and how
where
we
we're
want to
at.
present it.
So you know, we agreed that the world's on a divide, right? We're splitting timelines. I think that is reflective in also everything in the world that we're seeing culturally and societally across the world. So like, I think this is just where we're at. I think, you know, there's a group of people that think one way is the best to do it. And
Yeah.
I think there's a large group of people that think there's a better way to do it. Do they all agree on the better way to do it? No, but that's good.
Yeah.
I just think we're now seeing that. Like, it's just getting to that. And I think it's great. I think that's the way it should be.
Yeah. Yeah. It's definitely ramping up. You know, like you've been saying.
Get pure
All right,
sourced up, dude, all day. Give us a hot topic. So let's.
I still want to hear you.
Give us a hot topic. We've been on hot topics the whole time.
I still want to hear about the transfer from the woods into, you know, how you started getting into the tournaments and that kind of stuff.
We played woods ball. The field doesn't exist anymore, but back in Iowa, on the Illinois side, it was Mississippi Valley Paintball. And that's where, like, you know, I spent years growing up. I'd go Wednesday night because it was $20 for a free rental and a bag of paint. So like I would do that, and they played one rec field under the lights for 3 hours. So I had a paper route. Funny story. It was a free paper that like you got once a week, right? So like I figured out they gave you a list of people that would complain if they didn't get it. I probably shouldn't be saying this, but this is like,
well, then don't say
statute of limitations, dude. It doesn't exist anymore. So like I would only deliver. I got paid to deliver 200 papers once a week, but I only deliver like 10 papers to the people that complained, and just take the rest of the compost pile and get paid for 200. But that was only to play paintball every Wednesday night to get a bag of paint.
Wait, what did the compost pile do?
I just didn't deliver all the papers. Like it just wasn't wasting them. It just put them to use.
So they went back into the earth.
Yeah,
you sent them back in.
Pure source up. So anyways, I played probably 6 or 7 years of like spider shutter, like shaker loader in the woods and rec ball, and you know, learning how to outthink people and outsmart people and actually, you know, think a couple steps ahead as a team to, you know, if you got to work together to take this castle, you can't just run in there and take a castle versus 10 people. Like, you have to strategize, you have to communicate. Those are all very important things to the fundamentals of paintball. You know, go back to the foundation level. Like, if you don't have those, you'll never be as good as the people that do. And to me, that's clear in how many new top level pros there's been in the last 15 years. Like, very few. Why is that?
Yeah, well, it's because it's such a mental game. It's more a mental game than just than about anything else.
And to me, that's so. How much do you learn in the woods?
That's why.
Like, did you play in the? How many of y'all played in the woods? I bet everyone that's top level now.
I started.
Grew up in the woods, or 7-man and mechanical to some extent, or cockers or mags. That just doesn't exist anymore. It's coming back, and I'm glad it should. Like 10-man mechs making a comeback. I've honestly been more pissed that I haven't been able to play those events just because of my schedule.
Yeah, why haven't you? Made it to NICC.
I've been so busy with the farm, going through vibe break-ins, you know, growing pains. Like Alan got stuck in Europe after COVID, so miss him. Like, hopefully he'll get back soon. Like, it's just been hell. Like, we're about to turn the corner and get good help, but you've
been working.
Yeah, it's been a lot of effort, but it's,
dude, you're gonna love the 10-man. Oh my God.
I can't wait. I know I will.
You're gonna go crazy.
So many people to eliminate.
Dude,
elimination.
Yeah, you're a beast in the no matter where you put it, but you throw you in that 10-man situation, it's gonna go off.
I almost showed up out of the shadows with Ground Zero and little Adam at ICC just for fun. But I was too busy.
You should have, dude.
That
is such an amazing event.
That's for everyone. Like, all I want to do is be playing paintball all the time. Like, that's the only thing I want to do is just work out and go play paintball.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, that's it. That's what we're doing. Just trying to work out, stay in shape, play paintball, work hard. That's where it's at.
Stay so up.
stay sourced up. How did you get into the tournaments? What
Back to
was
the
your
question
first
again?
What was your first tournament team name? That's what I really want to know.
Okay, the original team name was the Paint Kings.
Hey.
And our logo was P and the K, and then like on the K there was like a crown tilted.
Nice.
It wasn't that to me. It
Nice.
wasn't too cheesy. Like, it's pretty cheesy looking back.
Yeah, the Paint Kings are
it's
good.
not
I mean, we've
bad.
heard some. We've
Paint
had some. We've had some way better names. So I'm gonna go with better. We've had some way better names on the show.
All right. What was the best one you've had?
Dude, A-Rod might hold the throne, man. The Ghetto Smurfs. That's
a good
one.
I actually think that was one of the podcasts I think I listened to after. I like A-Rod. He's got a good story.
Yeah, 100%. A-Rod's the man. He's been huge in the Discord community as well.
What's Discord?
Discord is an amazing chat application that a lot of video gamers use, I guess.
All right.
We just kind of stumbled across it and have started using it to build out the PTG community. You know, we have a bunch of different rooms, and honestly, it's like a modern PB Nation.
Dude,
now.
don't get me going on PBN. I'm a 15-year vet. I got Lane Wright to snap on me publicly. That was like my goal, my shining achievement back in the day.
Dude, you are not helping your case right now. See, this has been your life goal. Is to
it wasn't my goal.
To snap.
No,
you just said it was your goal.
No, ask Lane Wright. Get him on here. We are now friends. It wasn't my goal.
You just said it was your goal.
It was not my goal to get him to snap. It just happened.
We need to rewind.
Maybe I did say that, but it wasn't. That was misspoken. And it wasn't my goal to get him to snap.
You were throwing it to the extreme to get a point across, but you didn't mean it to the fullest.
At the time,
that was one of those.
I was 16 or 17. Dude, we were shit talking kids on PBN. Like I was trying to get Lane Wright riled up in the instance. Like, and then I got him to like say like shut the fuck up, something like this. It was deserved.
Well,
like I love. Looking back, I love Lane Wright. Like we're buddies now. Like not buddies, but like get him on the show, dude. He'll tell you. I was trying in my own way to just better the sport even then. Like I was just being critical in an asshole way that's polarizing because it's just more fun that way to let people just ruffle their feathers.
Oh, there we go. Here, So I think what he's really speaking to is the power of the community. You know what I mean? Like the chats are lit. Shout out to the PTG world.
Bring the
chat rooms
back, baby.
And we're having fun with that. So we have the Paint Kings. You guys go on a run, or what starts cracking with the Paint Kings?
We didn't go on a run. We did well. We placed at some events. I don't remember all of the pieces of the puzzle, but
was it 3 or 5 man that you started with?
Paint Kings was 3-man.
Yeah, me too. That's how I started.
3-man was I think every younger should be 3-man. I think there's a lot to 3-man. It's quick. It's a great beginner. It's a great intro. It's not a huge commitment. You don't need to spend $1,000 to go play a 3-man tournament.
I agree. I think 3-man is the best way for these new players to come in. I always tell, because then you just got to find 2 buddies. You know what I mean? Like, yo, find 2 buddies and go start a 3-man team.
one mom in a car can go. Like once you get to an 5, you need a big size car. A van's pushing it with 5 people, a mom driving, and gear bags and paint and stuff. Like, dude, how many road trips or hours have you spent like curled up in the back seat of an SUV road tripping to the event because you got 9 dudes in a car and 13 gear bags to save money?
Yep.
My mom,
the squish.
I love my mom, but looking back, dude, me and Tally started. Circle back.
Your mom is the best. Dude.
We started playing serious tournaments with the ICU rattlesnakes.
Your mom is so great.
I love your mom. She is very welcoming and loving.
Yeah,
so the ICU rattlesnakes was a group of older gentlemen from Iowa that played Division II PSP, and like they were great guys. They did their best. They just love to compete and enjoy it. But like, if me and Tally and the kids would go with them, like we could play for free, and we didn't have any money. So like, but we had to road trip with them. So like, essentially, my mom's put me in a car with Tally and 3 or 4 30 to 40-year-old dudes she doesn't really know from Des Moines, Iowa, southern Des Moines, just driving 15 hours across the country to play paintball a weekend with $30 in my pocket, just telling her we'd figure it out. Like, and it was the best time ever, dude. Like we used to drive to Badlands every weekend with no money and walk around the parking lot and be like, hey, like I went to every person. Can I get 5 balls? Can I get 5 balls? We'd fill our loaders and we'd go to the start gate, play like 3 points, shoot, learn how to get the kills playing. This is when people were full auto 15.
Yeah.
We're out there with loaders, like just one ball checking, just waiting, like, and that's how you got good. You just got worn out constantly. You just put the effort in, and I loved it. Like,
dude, how many times you gotta hit someone with a paintball for them to be eliminated?
Once.
That's it. Yeah.
That's Blake Yarber is my favorite. Me and him seem to have like this ultimate one ball battle going back and forth throughout matches. We've always seemed to have battles with Dynasty.
Yeah. Oh, I know. The infamous days, dude, with us going back and forth. Those were crazy.
So many good matches. We need Oliver back, dude. I need Oliver to come back, and we can source up, and we can all then manifest.
Do you ever chat with him? Do you
every now and then? Every so often. He owns 1% of Plum.
Does he?
I traded him years back at a Millennium event for a rice cake and some raw peanut butter he had when like, it's a joke, but like I'm gonna honor it because it was a deal. Like me and Brad just started making like t-shirts, and I was like, dude, I was starving. I'm like, oh, let me get a rice cake. He's like, what are you gonna give me? And I didn't have any money on me. I was like, I'll keep 1% of Plum. He's like, all right, deal. Every now and then,
that's a good investment on his part, dude, back then, right?
That's gonna pay off 1,000-fold, dude. Just trust me. It's
gonna pay off.
Time is irrelevant. It's just a matter of compounding.
Yeah. So when's the last time you talked to Ollie? What do you guys talk about?
I don't know. Raw sourcing it up. Honestly, all right, I'll be blunt. The last time I was like, dude, are you gonna come back and help us just all fix this industry? Because to me, like, he's another vital piece of the puzzle that can sync the industry side and the player side. Like, only a handful of people have worked and done both sides. Like, and to me, that's where like a lot of people want to criticize me and tell me one way or the other, but like I just don't care anymore because most of them haven't worked in the industry. Like, they haven't sat in the offices with these guys that make the decisions. Like, where I did. Not that I know all of them or I know everything, by any means I don't. But like, I know I have better perspective than 95% of these douchebags on Facebook that want to, bicker with me. Like they know what's going on when the reality is that all they know is what they're told by their sales rep, which isn't the whole piece of the puzzle by any means. So let's just stop wasting my energy. Like, that's just why I'm so blunt and kind of an asshole anymore, because I just don't have time to waste. I don't have enough time to hang out with my girlfriend and my dogs. Like, I'm not going to spend time entertaining someone's ego and opinion on something they don't know. They aren't viewing from the same perspective as me, so I don't care to entertain the conversation anymore.
I would say Ollie's doing a pretty good job, wouldn't you?
I love Oliver. Sorry, I got sidetracked.
With what he's doing, him and Alex,
awesome.
they're making some waves in the industry.
To me, those are two people that should lead, like, whatever is to come of a good juju manifestation. Like, they're two figureheads that should be a part of it because they are the epitome of it.
Absolutely. Couldn't agree more. Two of the most dynamite people
to the moon.
Absolutely. So start to finish. Oh, yeah. All right. Hold on. I just cracked some things.
Shout out to Hormesis one time.
Yeah, dude.
Shout out to Hormesis. Very excited. Yep. So, dude, Damien, what are the are you going to bring Plum Life or Plum Pharmaceuticals into paintball? When are you going to start branching out? What kind of products do you guys make?
What my ultimate plan is to build Plum Extreme Sports, and like this is all kind of behind the scenes, but like it's all slowly going to start coming together, and in that, like, try to branch build a brand that can branch across any sport or platform, because to me, like, everything gets so stuck in one alley just by default because it's easy. Like, you guys paintball, you talk about paintball. But then it's going to be real hard to branch from your podcast. And I don't know. I'm just, right? So maybe it's easy. I don't know podcasts.
Play the game.
That's true.
Play the game is so broad. And that was part of our thinking in this.
That's a good call. I'll give you that. I didn't really think about that much. I honestly, just because I don't listen, I just assume you talk about paintball all the time, but that's because I just think about paintball for the most part.
Yeah.
That's all I want to talk about. That's all I don't care. I'm not hating on that.
Our mission statement is obviously, paintball, culture, and personal development, and that spans everything. Play the game. It's a play the game nation.
And that's where, like, Plum Life, it's the same concept, right? Just your game is paintball, but someone else's game could be golf or whatever, but it all everything else resonates the same. It's
business,
the same.
relationships. We're all playing a game out there.
It's all a game, baby.
It's all a game. It's all a game, especially in the simulation.
All right, hold
on. Look what I got. Look what I got, baby.
Hold on.
Look what I got for us. The tinfoil hat boys.
I'm not gonna lie. I looked around the rental house briefly for my anonymous mask just to have it. I should have brought it.
So obviously when we throw these on, you know, for the YouTubers, we got the tinfoil hats on. Yep.
The goaters, baby. The goaters.
The goaters.
There we go. We've got the tinfoil hats.
Yeah, they're crunchy, they're crispy, and we're having fun. Yeah, dude, all I know is I don't know. You know?
We don't know anything.
Marcelo looks amazing in his tinfoil hat.
I feel like I gotta
we
get
got these
on now.
we got these specially for you, Damien, just so you know.
You plan this out.
Yes. We got these specially for you. We can talk all these conspiracies now.
Hawk.
Oh, dude. So
she would love
yeah, I guess that's my big thing is I just don't know.
All right, you know what? Here, let's get this going then. Set it all off. I already hate the word.
Here, I'll open it up. I'll open it up.
Define conspiracy.
Yeah. Okay. Hey Siri, what is conspiracy?
A conspiracy, also known as a plot, is a secret plan or agreement between persons for an unlawful or harmful purpose, such as murder or treason, especially with political motivation, while keeping their agreement secret from the public or from other people affected by it.
Wow. That is, to me, that's very different. That's vastly different from my understanding of what I last read on, I want to say dictionary.com.
That's what Siri tells you.
That already proves a conspiracy. There are Siri's trying to fuel the fire.
So the more common one is, the action of like plotting or conspiring.
Correct.
That's what I'd always thought.
She got kind of dark there.
Siri just got dark, dude.
Siri went.
Why did it
call me crazy? Call me crazy.
Hold on. This is weird. My hat is fully on right now because of that. That's crazy.
Siri, Siri. Yeah, I don't know.
You literally just asked Siri. She had been listening to this whole conversation and said, "Okay, you guys, I'm gonna let you know."
Hold on, the Plum Lord. The Plum Lord has his cone on now.
Cone head, baby.
The cone head.
Look, you can't talk.
So
you can't get
that was wild.
And off
first of all,
Siri just sets us up for day. That's not a coincidence, dude. Coincidence exists.
I'm not gonna lie, that's crazy.
It's not crazy.
Oh man,
it's AI, dude. It's straight.
Okay, so
it's a conspiracy.
I mean, I don't know. Once again, I just don't know what's going on.
I agree with Marcelo. My definition, my understanding of the definition is the act to conspire, which then really just means that two people put a plan together. Yeah. So, like, the fact that it has this negative connotation, like when you say conspiracy, to me, like everything's a plan. Like the NXL is a plan. That's a conspiracy. Like you guys conspire to put this podcast on every week. That's a conspiracy. Like everything's a conspiracy. So you're right. Everything's a possibility at this point.
Yeah, I know. I don't know why Siri went so dark there.
Because
Poor Siri.
I do think the word conspire does mean to do so in a harmful way, but Siri went off the deep end with that one. She went dark, zero dark.
Are you sure?
I want everybody to ask. No,
I'm pretty sure.
If you have Siri, I want people to ask their Siri.
Yes, I don't talk to Siri, dudes. I don't trust Siri.
Yeah, I wonder what Alexa would say. You know, it makes me curious if they all say the same thing, or if they have different definitions.
Interesting. Yeah. So
depends on the political agenda of the day, I think.
Yeah. You know what? Let's go to this is from Oxford Languages.
Use DuckDuckGo.
Conspire. Yeah, DuckDuckGo is really good. Make secret plans jointly to commit an unlawful or harmful act.
I swear that's changed like in the last year or two.
I agree with you, Damien. It has.
Changed.
It for sure has.
Hey, Discord.
It has.
Send the troops out,
Discord.
Dude. Backlog.
We need
the
young
definition.
Stevie.
Someone who's good at this stuff because I'm not touching computers anymore.
We have, like Rogan has Jamie.
Yeah, you need who's the?
We got his Stevie,
in the nicest way possible. I was gonna say who's the nerd off screen, but I respect in a respectful way. Nerds,
dude. Steve is the man.
Nerds are
I'm calling him. We're calling Steve.
Yeah,
we need to get to the bottom of this.
We're calling him up.
Hold on a second.
This has changed.
Hold on,
we're breaking the system.
We just got the capabilities to make calls on the show and stuff. So we're calling Steve.
Steve, hi, you're on the air.
Yo, what's up, guys?
Dude, we have a question. We needed to call and ask young Steven, our guy. We had to ask because we're trying to get the definition of conspiracy theory. And Tyler asked Siri, and she gave us a really dark Do you still have it, Tyler? Can you play it?
No, I don't want to feel those negative
I don't want to.
vibrations
Yeah, I don't.
Okay, so the point is, and then I even Googled conspiracy theory, and I swear that it has changed recently. My understanding of a conspiracy theory was, getting together, plotting, to conspire. And let's see. Let me get this definition real quick, because we're going to ask you to do some research for us.
That's already tough, though. Do you have to have multiple people for it to be a conspiracy theory? Like, why can't one person?
That's what it says.
From my understanding before, it was two people essentially conspire or plan together. Like, and I didn't think it was harmful. Marcelo's understanding it might have been harmful, which then I would agree it'd be a little bit more negative than I would have taken it. But either way, it's not what it says now.
A secret plan by a group to do something unlawful or harmful. Whereas I always thought it was the action of plotting or conspiring, in which conspiring does. See, I don't know. I don't know.
It sounds like what you're saying is inherently negative. Like,
correct.
As if the people don't actually believe what they're saying.
That is the way Oxford Languages is presenting this.
That's how they Jedi.
So I'm wondering if you can, do some research and see if the definition of conspiracy has changed in the last couple of years, because I believe it's changed. That's, where we got right off to this is a conspiracy theory in itself.
Get to the bottom of it. We can't even get into it because they give it to us already, dude.
So, hey, meet us in the Discord. We're gonna go over this for everyone tuning in. We're going down the wormhole.
Are you in Discord live right now?
No, I called him, but yeah, Steve's in the Discord for sure. We got the whole Discord bumping.
Yeah, I'm doing this right now. Let's go.
yeah, there we go.
We're gonna hack the system, baby.
That would be so weird. What would be the motive for them changing, how they define it?
Don't get me going, dude.
Yeah.
Well, what would you say the motive is? Like, what's your
political agenda?
But what agenda could they be pushing?
Because how many people in the last 12 or 24 months, don't set me up for conversations. I'm not going to go too deep.
No.
How many people in the last 12 or 24 months have probably Googled this exact question, the definition of conspiracy?
Many.
And now we agree that it looks, if you are a conspiracy theorist, is like everyone's being painted as, it's a negative thing.
I see.
Years ago, from our understanding of like smart people where words matter, and we know that literal words have literal meanings, like we think it's a little less nefarious. I don't even know if that word correct, but it sounds right. But like that's to me, that's why that would change. Like, it's to paint.
No, that makes sense. That does make sense.
Okay. So there is an entire article on this. So I'm not on a .com. I'm on a .edu.
Oh, that's
all right.
Sure.
So here we go. I'm making sure that we have this legit. So the reason that the definition has changed over time is because of like the popularity of major conspiracy theories, like the moon landing and the JFK assassination. So
they put their opinion on the definition.
They bent the knee to cancel culture. They can't change words. Words have meanings.
Hold on. Let's let Steve finish. My bad. It was my bad.
No, you're so literally, basically, this article, in a nutshell, is saying there is an online argument over why you can't define it, because there's two classes of conspiracy theory. There's people who believe it's harmful intent and people who see the opposite version. It's not. Situations that invoke a sinister or powerful actor or political motivation, like it's too broad of a term for it to have a singular definition. So apparently it's a scholarly debate.
Holy smokes.
I love that.
Dude, young Stevie in the building.
Yeah, Stevie. Great knowledge drop. Put him on payroll, dude.
Steve.
Shout out to the court.
Get him on payroll.
Steve is the man.
Shout out
we're
to
flying
the
high,
court,
maybe eventually. Maybe eventually. Dude, Steve, you are the man. Thank you so much for clarifying that for us. It all makes sense now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, absolutely. I'll send you this link too.
Okay, awesome.
We'll drop it in the Discord.
Drop it in the Discord.
Perfect. Yeah, let's drop it in the Discord right now. They'll dig that.
Hey, thank you, Steve.
Thank you,
dude. See, you can't.
Yeah, absolutely, boys.
Appreciate it.
Later, bro. Dude, that is so great. Love the fact that we have Steve in our corner.
Dude.
It's amazing.
I know.
Make Steve
so great.
Make him a tall.
Yeah.
Steve has a lot of custom stuff. Don't worry.
Oh yeah.
He's dominant. Yep.
Is he the man
Everybody
behind
knows
the
it.
scenes?
He
Yeah.
helps us a lot. Yeah, he does do a lot of stuff for us and helps us out. And he's really tech savvy, so that's great. And he's a great community member. He's a great community member, man. He's a good leader for what we envision the play the game movement to be, and
Culture.
and 100% for the culture, man. So we love being able to call in, and that's actually something that we do offer all of our GOAT members. They have the ability to call in on the show and be live.
Dude,
so
take
it's
a call.
selective.
Let's take a call.
Let's take a call. Okay.
But not
all right.
from
Got to
Taco.
post it really
That'll
quick.
just put me. That just puts me in a different mood. Like if not,
Yeah.
just put me in a different vibration.
fine.
I don't want to get
That's
answered
fine.
again. I need some medicine first.
And we
Let's see if
still
any of these guys
haven't
are in
even
here.
dipped into your career. We
Dude,
got to get into your career
We're
too.
gonna need. I feel like a follow up because there's any topic we could talk about for hours.
Yeah, this is true.
Let's dive in too. I'll get a GOAT that's ready to call in, but let's start talking
Okay.
about your
Yeah, because we were with
let's
the
go.
Paint Kings.
Yeah,
right?
let's
That's
dive back
right.
in.
It's Paint
'Cause I
Kings?
want to get to the story where you were playing for Voltage and me and Mouse took you down in Tampa in our first D1 tournament ever.
Oh,
7-man in the finals. Boom.
All right, we'll go. You want to go back to that? You want to talk about that right now? Who were you?
We'll go back.
No,
we'll go back.
let's
We'll go
get
back.
into it.
It was with Aftermath, baby.
Ooh, we were playing X-Ball with Shock, and then we played MPPL with Voltage.
Yep.
Okay,
Yep,
I'm piecing together. I'm not denying it for sure that happened. I'm just trying to remember. All
Oh
the
yeah, there's no
stories.
denying it.
Was it at Raymond James Stadium or was it when
It was,
right?
dude.
Yeah, that was a good
The
one.
place was sick.
yeah.
Yeah, you guys got us good. I don't remember a lot about the specific game itself, honestly.
Yeah, I think, to be honest, I think I shot you out of the snake and I was in this car wash.
Of course.
Yeah.
I was in the
I just
snake?
remember it. Yeah, I just remember it because you were someone that, I looked up to. We were, focused on you in that match for sure because you guys playing with Aftershock. Yeah.
Dude, we
Yep.
played on Aftermath together when you were a young buck.
We did. Yep.
You
yep.
and Mouse,
Oh,
dude.
crazy stories. Crazy
won't go
stories
into
with
those.
Aftermath.
We won't
dude.
go into those.
Yeah.
Those were the good old days.
Those are
We got
Times
the
it up.
Aftermath
I think
alumni here.
Mike Hinman still doesn't know that story. And it's
Shout-
probably a good thing
Yeah,
for
shout out to Hinman, one of the true
Shout out
OGs
to Hinman,
in the
dude.
game.
Forever.
Mike
He's
to
someone
death.
that I'll say tries to hold the industry to a higher standard and what he does.
100%. He does an amazing job, man. In the
Yeah, he does.
WCPPL, like the sky's the limit with them. 100%. And who knows what we'll see from them in the future.
I hope he
But
goes-
yeah, let's dive in. So
Yeah.
you got the Paint Kings. You're jamming. You're playing 3-man.
All
You
right.
said you're not really winning.
We're always competitive, but I just don't think our initial first team we didn't win consistently. I know there was misplaced, I guess, for an event, but we went right into once we got good, we played 10-man with Connection, and like that was when there was 150 10-man teams at Cup, and it was just a whole different kids nowadays, people that have players nowadays don't even know what we're talking about when we say that, but
Mhm.
I went to my first tournament, it was just like.
Yeah, it was crazy.
It was the best thing ever. Like I went to every booth, I looked at all the new products. It was the best thing ever, and that's when I was officially hooked on it. But at the same time, I also remember going to Badlands and looking up the pros and trying to talk to them and ask questions, and they just were assholes and just rude, and that's where I was like, all right, if I ever get pro, I'm not gonna be and I feel like I portray myself on social media one way, but most people that know me, I feel like I go above and beyond for everyone around me to help them in any way needed and just do what's, help the greater good of the situation. I just cause some ruffles online.
Yes, you do. Yes,
Right.
you do.
And,
needed.
again, sometimes that pushback is needed to, it's unfortunate that sometimes you truly do have to swing the pendulum much further to the other side to get where you actually want to be, which is in the middle. And it shouldn't be that way. You shouldn't have to do that.
Absolutely agree with that. That's funny you say that. In my head, everything is on a pendulum. It just goes to one extreme to the other, whether it's 30 seconds or 10 years, that's, it changes with the situation. But yeah, and I feel like somewhat maybe is a fair way to put it. I feel I have to go to the extreme to maybe get the people in the middle to say what they want to say. I'm not going to say I'm right and other people's opinions are wrong. I think everyone should just be able to say what the fuck they want to say. And right now, I don't think that happens. So to me, that's just, we all agree things could get better. We all agree NXL is doing a good job of what they do. Sure, absolutely. We all agree things could get a lot better. Everyone has an opinion on how to do that. So why don't we hear everyone's opinions? Let's all talk about it. To me, that doesn't happen.
Hey.
It's starting to happen, but to me, it's just a little too late now. I've lost my job and been shunned and insulted numerous. I don't need to hear it. Like,
It's never too late, man.
no,
You know,
stop.
it's never too late. Did you
We'll
have a
see.
dog bowl on your head as a cone? What was that?
Nah,
Is it a
it's just a plastic bowl. We have like a stock of food and water and stuff that's stored over there.
Yeah. How many dogs you running with these days?
Oh, we got 3, dude. We just our last break-in was like 2.5 months ago, and the next day I went to the like Second Chance Rescue around the corner, and I'm like, what? Give me the biggest dog you have. And it was like an Anatolian Shepherd. He's like 125 pounds. He's a monster. He's bitten 4 people. He doesn't care.
Oh, no.
He's a monster. He's my monster, and I love him.
You sent a video to us.
He's a bully, dude.
And he was just
Yeah, dude. He tries to. I have to roll his window up sometimes because like I'm scared he's gonna like try to jump out the window.
Jump out, yeah. Holy smokes! So that's your lead guard dog on the property.
Like, yeah, he's Jackson, the big white one. Like he was adopted to live at the farm and become a guard dog. Like the other 2 were my personal dogs before I started out here. So like I love them, dude. They're not. I'm not leaving them at the farm.
Yeah.
Like they're not good. They'll guard us. Like Denzel's a serial killer. But they're not like I'm not. It's not their jobs. They're meant to love and cuddle.
How did you get into pro paintball, Damien? Like, how did you make the leap? And kind of, there's so many people that want advice on that subject. Like, how you were able to go through the divisionals or do the tournament, whatever you did, and then make that leap and get into.
So
pro.
that kind of covers the voltage and a lot of those middle years. Like I don't remember the first couple, but like the tournament years. But then once we started getting, playing the high level X ball and seeing the tournaments, we're like, all right, we're hooked. And then we realized that like we all came out of the Steel in Iowa. I played with Legend. That's where one dude I got thrown, MPPL 7-man team. We grew up playing against them, and then later like we'll circle back to forming a pro team with them. But they grew up in Iowa. But like me and Tally, kind of at that point in time, we're like, all right, like we felt we were reaching the best of our abilities playing where we were. So
was that when I saw you guys? Is that around the same time?
I think so. Because then we kind of started realizing that like we had to go to Chicago if we really wanted to play pros and play the best. Like shout out to Floyd Rose. I don't know if you remember him.
I remember that name.
He was from Iowa. Like he was like he played on Shock Tech, like semi-pro. Like,
okay.
Like he was the pro at our field. And like we looked up to him, but like he didn't, he just had life. He wasn't dedicating his life to it where we wanted to. So we started driving to Badlands every year, and that's where we synced up with Voltage, and like we crashed at the Sosines house. I don't know how well if you know Randall.
Yeah, I remember Randall.
Yeah, so me and Tally, like their mom didn't like us very much, but everyone else loved us around there. But like we spent years driving to Chicago, and it was 4.5 hours one way for Tally and 3 hours for me. And like there was a 2-year span where Tally missed, I think, 1 or 2 weekends of not playing paintball. Like if we weren't, it was when it was NX or PSP, MPPL, Millennium.
Yeah.
And every off weekend we were driving to Chicago. So like we like as I was saying earlier,
you guys played so much paintball, dude.
We would sleep at the field. Like we used to have 50 people camping at Badlands, and we would play all day.
But that's why you got good.
Yeah,
that's why you got good.
We drove there with no money. We would borrow paint and get our shit pushed in every weekend just because we were playing. And we'd camp at the field because we had no money. We have a fire. We eat hot dogs. Like Anita, shout out to Anita at Snack Shack at Badlands. Yep. We used to always sneak us stuff. Like respect.
All right, we're taking our tinfoil hats off for the moment, but I'm sure they'll be back. They'll be back. They'll be back.
But yeah, so we just,
I'm leaving mine on. Sorry, I
You're enjoying
I just had to get the string off of my neck because it was. But yeah, I'm keeping mine on. Who knows where this could go?
Yeah, no, to me,
I can't take it off.
Me,
I got to be ready. What if lightning strikes through this wall? Did you hear Siri? She's waiting. I am not taking my hat off. This is staying on for sure.
Serious, Tyler. Scale of 1 to 10. What level of view do you think that was AI telling us this is all a simulation?
I just don't know what's going on.
No, with Siri's answer on a 1 to 10, like where would you fall on the ones?
I will honestly say
full simulation, like a 7.
I'm right in there. Yeah,
just from this one experience in itself.
I did not expect her to do that. Like I thought she was gonna give some, like
generic, easy vanilla answer. No. She went deep. She went deep. I think she said George Soros in there too.
I don't know. She went full tilt.
Don't bring up George Soros.
Yeah. No, baby. Yeah,
That's
so
funny.
I guess that's where, and here's the tinfoil hat, I don't know what's going on. It's back on.
Yeah. There we go.
And yeah, Siri definitely threw me for a loop there.
All I know is we don't know.
That's it, dude. That's all I know. So that's why you got good, Damien.
Oh, yeah.
You're playing your heart out, bro. And I'll never forget, watching you, and just dominate fields. You're a tremendous paintball player, and you play with passion, dude. And that's the power, right? That's where it all comes from.
Yeah, that's to me. Before I forget, don't forget this. I want to circle back. One thing I will accredit to is I used to spend every waking moment at tournaments like sitting in the pro stands watching, and like that to me, like that was one of the biggest things that helped me. Is I like would sit and intently watch people. And like Marcel, I don't know if you ever play, either of you. Did you ever play with Angel?
Fregosa.
Yeah.
So I grew up playing more against him every now and then. We would play with him because on Aftermath we practice against him.
That's right.
So I was at the field with him just about every weekend and watched him work. You know what I mean?
To me, like I was never, I was playing divisional, so I was always just watching pro. But like to me, like he dissected the field on another level. Like to me, he was hands down the best player out there. He would get 2-3 kills a game. And I love Oliver, I love Ryan, but like they would come down and bunker the last guy, and Angel would quietly walk to the pitch, not say a word, come out and do it again. Like, and I'm like, oh, okay. Like, so I, and then like, to me, that's then where I started dissecting. Like, all right, like you send someone out there that becomes a weapon that's a distraction per se, or a concern. And then that's where then Oliver and Ryan, if you can dissect the field, and Oliver and those guys have this ability to see it differently, like, then, like you can dictate your will. And that's where, like you say, control the field. Like if you control your timeline, inflict your will upon them, to me, if you like mentally, you don't have to change your plan. If your plan's perfect and you're perfectly prepared, fuck them. Like make them adapt to you, make them catch up to your plan. Like that's just where I'm at anymore. And that's
use whatever your opponent is doing against them at the same time.
Exactly. To me, like instead of fighting, go with the flow, like, and then just take the flow and choke them with it.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, that's how the best teams in the world are doing it. You gotta, like you said, go with the flow, and then on an audible call, whatever the moment presents, you got to use it.
You just got to know. Got to know when to gas. Got to know when to brakes. Got to know. It's all situational. Yeah. To me, like everyone tries to put. To me, everyone looks for a quick answer, and there's no quick answer to how you win a high level anything. Like how you compete at the highest level of anything is years of effort and dedication and work and making it a priority in your life, not just talking about it.
Well, you've done that. You know what I'm saying? Like it's something we've all done here, and you're right, man. It takes a tremendous amount of work, mental and physical, and you got to be applying yourself just to the max.
And that's, I mean, we all have, you guys included. I feel like everyone that's reached the pro ranks have dedicated and sacrificed a bunch. And that's where I feel like a lot of these newer players, the new generation doesn't understand that. They don't know that there was 5, 10, 15 years of grinding. Like they see D5 to pro in 2-3 years. They see, and I'm not hating, just for example, like respect to level up and Panda, they're competing, but they see a new program come in, and within 3 or 4 years, it's a pro team. So they, in their head, they're like, all right, 4 years, not to say that's how it works, but just it's another piece of the puzzle to me that gets overlooked. And to me, it's clearly important because the best pros are all the same kind of mindset of that in that degree.
And I actually was just having this conversation with a Mama T, actually, from the
Shout out to Mama T and Bro Army out in Utah.
I talked to her a little bit, I think, on Facebook.
Yeah, and I was like, she was asking me, why is there such a gap or whatever's going on? And I was like, well, this didn't happen overnight. We've been doing this for a long, long time. And all that people see is like the highlight reel or whatever. They see the Instagram, or they see, they see you doing all this stuff, but they don't know about the 15 years with nothing. You know what I mean?
Pendulum, circle back, no foundation. Yep. If there's somewhere for everyone to look and see this, like Famous just came out, but like, there's no story, there's no culture. Like, same, if there's somewhere for all of this to look, then everyone will know it exists.
That book is crazy. I actually just tapped in with him today. They're going to be coming on the show.
I didn't order one, but I regret it. So I should. I need to get it. I don't know if you still can. Like, I know it was like a limited edition thing.
I think they sold out.
If someone wants to work a trade or something, hit me up.
I don't know, though. Yeah, I know. Seriously, I need one of those. I don't even know how to go about getting one.
Trade you some of Marcelo's XRP.
No way, dude. I'm holding that long. That's not going
liquid,
anywhere.
that's crypto gold.
So in the early
We'll
years
see.
of pro, what was it like for you? What was it like in those early years? It was way more gritty.
Oh yeah,
You know?
like
Yeah.
what do you mean? What was it like? Like in the sense of
Like
playing the
in the
culture?
Midwest with you were playing at
Oh,
Badlands, right?
dude, it was
Yeah.
lawless. I, in the sense of trying to portray a better image, will leave a lot of the stories out. But
Yeah.
it was cutthroat, dude. It was just,
Yeah.
and it was in a good way. Like it created a lot of backbone. It created a lot of spine. It taught us a lot about the world. Like it taught us how not to behave sometimes. Like to me, as long as you're learning and improving, either way, like it's needed in life. You're not always gonna be perfect or flawless, but like if you make the same fucking mistakes numerous times, then you're an idiot. Like make the same mistake once and then move on and learn from it. Just don't do it again. That's fine. Do the same shit twice. I just don't want to talk to you. Or I just don't have. Not that I don't want to talk to you. I just don't want to waste my energy because clearly you don't want to help yourself. So I don't want to hear what you're going to lie to me about. And that's just like I just summarize things quickly in my head and jump to conclusions, but it seems to save me a lot of energy at this point.
Yeah, makes sense, man. And especially coming up in that camp, you know, we had LJ Parrish on.
Oh, I love LJ.
After you, yeah, LJ's the man, you know, and anyone we've had on from that area, they sing the same song about how gritty it was coming up.
Dude, it was
anybody
fun.
from our generation, we know, we heard the stories, we know what Aftershock and what that camp, that region was about.
To keep it as PG as I can, I think my first pro event on Shock, I was stuffed like in a hotel room, like between the wall and the bed, you know, if you kind of like push them off and then flip the mattress, kind of, you can kind of like suck someone in there. So it was like the scrawny little kid the new kid on Shock, and I get stuffed in this corner, and the pants me, and Psalm's paddling me with like a piece of the headboard he had broken off the bed on my bare.
Jesus,
just paddling me, just whipping me with this thing, and I was intoxicated. I just kept going because like he was mad that I kept calling him the salamander. And it was one of those things where like we were hammered once we knew that it pissed him off. Like we just kept digging it in. But like that was my first experience on the team, getting paddled with a headboard broken off the hotel room bed. Like
getting abused.
Yeah, was it fun and awesome? Absolutely. Like is that the culture that should exist at the highest level? Probably not. Like let's just call it
times have changed. I think you can go across to all sports. I mean, you look at like football, talk about hazing and what teammates would do to younger players coming through, the rookies. Like you just get smoked down coming up, dude. You know,
and playing sports, I think it should exist. It's hard now because you have two cultures. You have two. To me, you just have two different people. You have two different mindsets of like one mindset is dude, you can slap me in the ass and say fuck you, and it won't matter. And the other side is going to feel sexually assaulted and emotionally abused. Like, and it's just, you're trying to blend two different people that just believe two different things. And it's just no one conversing about it. They're just yelling at each other.
Yeah. It's a whole thing that you don't even, don't even get tied up in it. Just keep stay the course and play your game, and don't even give that type of stuff any energy.
I don't give it energy, but to me, like if we're trying to do something on a massive scale, like to some level, you have to understand how the masses work and the mind works.
Well, I personally think that maybe you getting abused shouldn't be happening.
I agree with that. Sorry, I thought you were talking about something else.
No.
Yeah, that should happen. That none of that stuff should happen. But
yeah,
at the same time, just not to say hazing should happen, but like there is some sort of fun in the culture of team.
Sure, but there's a fine line there. You can't,
there's a fine line. Yeah, 100%.
And it needs to stay inside the
dude.
How do you get a code of like acceptable hazing? I don't know what to say, but you know what I'm saying? Like,
well, none of it's acceptable anymore. That's what's lame. I mean,
agree,
dude,
but that's where I agree. Like, some should exist because it's good to get like if you're too soft, you're gonna get screwed in this world. Like.
By my big brother, by the teams that I was on, and I wouldn't have it any other way. I would pay to go through that kind of training. If I was a kid growing up in today's day and I was aware of how soft it can be, I would probably pay for that experience, knowing what it could do. It shapes you in a different way, and again, there's a fine line, I don't know if getting spanked in the booty is I believe that's too far. But, dude, they used to like all sorts of stuff where, I mean, trying to shave our eyebrows and just pranks like that where, you're like, no, please don't shave my eyebrow. They were holding you down and like, hitting you. Well, I mean, if it doesn't kill you, it makes you stronger. That was, really the mindset that we were taught. growing up.
It was way
And
different.
it wasn't just
Yeah,
it wasn't
was a
just
whole different
paintball.
world.
It wasn't just
wow.
paintball. I mean, in Taekwondo, if I did anything wrong, it was put your hands out. They take the bamboo stick and smack you in the hands, smack you in the shins. Like there's no way. I can't imagine that's going on in the dojos anymore.
I bet you learned not to do shit wrong real quickly, though, huh?
Exactly. It taught extreme discipline. I mean, my dad used to take the belt off his pants and just spank me in the butt with the belt.
Some of
I'd
these
be
kids
crying and.
Half these kids, not that I have kids, as a no expert, not parenting advice, but my personal opinion is half these kids just need one good backhand of respect the fear of God, and they'll stop misbehaving 85%. And parents that would put their phone down and actually pay attention, but that's a whole nother conversation.
Yeah. The phone is definitely eating up a lot of time.
That's the
for sure.
AI direct source. That's the shit
I don't know.
that Elon keeps
guys,
talking
real
about.
quick. We
here, let me put this thing. There you go.
We have a caller.
Oh,
all right. We got a caller.
Is he getting a straight question or she?
I don't know. We'll see.
Just talking, vibing.
We're winging it.
Who is
Let's see. Little Georgie from the Bean.
George.
Who's Georgie from the Bean?
Georgie.
Hey, what's going on, guys?
We got you. There he is.
What's good?
What up, Damien?
How's it going?
Hey, pretty good, brother. How's the pup doing? Or the monster now?
He is a monster, that's for sure. He's a handful. He's good, though. They're all outside just chilling right now. I think the girlfriend's hiding from him.
Nice.
So,
nice.
have these guys been hearing everything we're talking about, or they?
No.
Okay, they're in
the dark. They're in the dark on the
cool.
conversation. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so I don't know what you guys have been talking about. Can I get a quick?
No, you're in
layup?
charge.
I'm not
You pick the topic.
Yep.
This is your
This
timeline,
is
Georgie.
you.
All right, so man, where do I start? Okay, so Damien,
Oh God,
you running Plum Life? Yep. You running Plum Life. By the way, I want to say you're doing good things with the guys, and I love seeing what you're doing.
well, I appreciate it. They all put in effort.
You're coming from. I hate to say it like this, but you're coming from blackballed by your openness about a national league. Let's not drop names, but we know which one.
Oh, we've talked about it plenty. Don't worry, everyone's gonna know at this point.
All right, so if the time comes, Plum Life has that chance to take that spot. Where do you stand after the criticism you have taken, the criticism you have given? What do you do with that?
There's a couple of pieces of that question. I feel like if Plum Life takes a spot in the sense of like a league, is that what you're specifically asking? Like if Plum Life is a league, is that what you're?
Yeah.
Okay. So all right, we'll say that's the name. I don't want that to be the name. I would love that to be the name, but truthfully, like, there's enough people in this industry that I feel like wouldn't work with that. And to me, like, I want to build the best thing overall, and I don't care what the name is at this point. Like, I just want to build what's best, and the criticisms to me don't matter. Like, at this point, I don't care what anyone's gonna say, in the sense of like it doesn't bother me. I care in a sense of like if people are gonna lie about me and say things that hold us back from doing what's best. Like, I'd love to correct that quickly and move on. It's just there's a lot of complicated things behind the scenes of all these polarizing topics that I like to press on, and I think both sides don't want to talk about all the details, so I don't know the best way to answer some of them. But that being said, like, I am to the point where with the Kansas City Sports Complex in KC, like, I don't have dates to drop in a league plan. Do I have what I feel is all the pieces of the puzzle to do what's best and start building that? Absolutely. Is that coming? Absolutely. When? I don't know. As soon as I can. I'd love for it to be tomorrow, but the farm is its own beast. But I should have that, helpers lined up and be clear a lot more to dedicate a lot more time and effort to promoting paintball and doing what I feel is best. Does that answer some of the questions?
Yeah, you did. That I've actually, from day one I met you to now, dude, I'll be honest, like, I hear maturity.
I appreciate it. I feel like I miss being on the pro field, man. I miss playing pro.
Yeah, I miss being on the pro field.
And that's another topic. That's I just one of the reasons, like, truthfully, that I've gone this mission and want to just build what I feel is best is because, truthfully, like, I feel in my core it should mean more to play pro paintball. Like, Tyler and Marcelo will probably agree with this. Like, they've dedicated majority of their life to this, and a lot of paintballers have. But, like, at the end of the day, like, in my head, it should be way more, and it's not. So I'm just to the point where instead of complaining and arguing with someone else that they should do it how I think, I'm just going to try to do it a different way. And I'd love to work with everyone else, anyone that wants to try it that way, anyone that is willing to be open-minded and have a good conversation about what could help and grow from all assets. Let's do it. Like, but I'm not going to waste time and energy running in circles and talking the same talk that I've heard for 5, 6, 10 years. Like, I don't have time and patience for it. Not to be grumpy, but that's why I'm kind of polarizing.
My thing about this is a guy that you're in this little three-way triangle between you guys that need help because they're so old on the field, they're getting broken. They might need a Dorito player to help them. I'm just saying.
I don't know. Who do you think you're talking about?
Side them up, baby.
Do you even know what position I have? Dorito player? I haven't played over on the Dorito side in a little bit there, buddy. Little G from the bean.
George is calling you out, Marcelo.
We need to put Lil G back in prison camp in the Discord.
Go to your room. Go to your room, Georgie.
I'm actually in my semi right now. Like,
nice.
Where's the bean?
We appreciate
where are you from? You said the bean.
Yep.
I'm originally from Boston, but I live down in Arizona now.
Okay.
Yeah, his nickname is Lil G from the bean.
I gotcha.
Hey, George, we appreciate you, man.
Yep.
Thank you so much for tapping in with us.
No problem, Ty.
Yeah, Georgie. Thanks, brother.
Bye.
Oh,
dude,
okay.
It can't not come up. I'm telling you, it's not a coincidence.
Yeah.
What?
NXL talk. I'm trying not to.
Oh,
you see, like,
of course. People see Damien Ryan. They want to know what it is you do and don't like about the NXL. They want to know what solutions you have. They want to know what you're doing to make things better. They don't want to just see your post. They want more. They want to know.
Well, here, ask. I feel like it's got to be more specific questions for direct answers.
I think I've asked you some very specific questions.
Yeah.
But and I appreciate your answer. Actually, is that often it's not just one fix, and it's not. And you do have to spread and go down certain rabbit holes because these solutions. Look, if these solutions were this easy, the NXL would be doing it because at the end of the day, you say they are all for money, which again, I don't buy into that. I've had many conversations with Tom Cole, and I truly trust that he is trying to do the best he can for the sport and he cares about paintball. With that said, what's best for their pockets is what's best for paintball as well, and if they are making money, that's because they're doing the right things. Like if they create a better product, it's going to bring them more money. If they create something that players want to play at, if they do, it's all in the same bucket. It's mutually beneficial. So granted, we can go down another wormhole on that, but if you would like to, dive back into that subject a little bit, I remember the last thing that I had asked was about referees. The next thing that I was going to ask was going to be venues, just to clarify. So you would never have a standalone event that was like
I wouldn't say that. Like with what Astra just did with Meter and Rainy hosting that, like I think that's also an awesome event. So like, perfect world. Like there'd be, a Plum series. There's 5 main events, let's say, at strategic fields. And then each of those has 5 regional events. One of them hosts a main one.
So real quick, that's what I meant by a standalone location. So all of your events would be at paintball parks. Well, they would never be like a rented rented land.
Sorry. So like that, my initial thought is that, but like at the same time, I agree. Like a Huntington Beach standalone event is awesome. Totally. Like the Kansas City event where we played in I don't know if you played the MPPL, but it was like I remember specifically Oliver was in a car wash watching the game on the big screen. And then like reacting to people moving and shooting them, like, cause he'd be like, oh, this dude just left. You'd lean out the car wash and shoot. Like they had to turn that off. But like it played in a sports complex. Like, yeah, I think both, they all need to exist. I think you need a set Premier League, a set top division. I think you need regional leagues. I think you need standalone events. I think you need it all. You know, I feel like that's a generic answer, but I truly believe that. Like, I think if it truly is going to flourish how we all believe it should, you can't just have, and that's not to say it all needs to be one brand. Like, if it could all be one brand, it'd be better. Is that realistic?
Would
Right
it though?
now,
I don't know if it would be better.
Maybe in the sense of like a unifying front brands, like I keep using hockey, but like a hockey organization, like the NHL, like to me that goes, there's something that goes, I don't know, maybe that's a bad example, but something that just goes top to bottom, kids, you know, soccer, like FIFA. Like, that's a better example of FIFA. Like, something like that needs to exist for paintball. When I say one organization, not one league running everything.
So I think something a little more relatable is the UFC and Pride, right? Two mixed martial arts
I'm sorry,
organizations.
I know those are. I'm just waiting to
right. And so both of them being separate allowed fighters to inevitably get more money because all the good fighters were going to the league that is paying their players the most, you know? And so the other league isn't able to put on good fights. You know, all the high name fighters are going to where they're going to make the most money, you know, and what's going to be the best product, you know, like that stuff sorts itself out. If you create the best product, people are going to come. You know, if you create the best opportunity, people are going to come. Period.
Yeah,
you know,
I agree.
And so having that competition, like if that wasn't there, if Pride wasn't there, or if the UFC wasn't there, then either one of those leagues would have gotten away with underpaying their fighters, and no fighter would have complained because it's the only platform they have to go and earn some kind of living for what they've dedicated their lives to. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I got you. I guess to me, I would then, it would pose a question to whoever's in the conversation, like, what is your end goal? Is the end goal financial, or like, to me, like,
for players,
like, well, just whoever you're talking in this conversation. It's like, if you were to ask me, like, at the end of the day, like, at this point, like, I don't want to build a league to make as much money as possible. I want to build a league so we have the best thing to play at. Do you unfortunately have to figure out a way to make money while doing that? Yeah, otherwise you're just going to hemorrhage a bunch of money. That being said, though, like, the other mindset to me is like, you have a league to make money, then your vested interest is to make it better. But to me, it's not the same, if that makes sense. Like,
I agree with you. I totally agree with you.
Incentives and the same passion and the same fire and desire to do it to the full. You don't dream, you settle. And I'm done settling. Fuck it.
So you're willing to sacrifice a good majority of profits as long as it's sustainable and you're making some money, but to put it back into the league and the players and the venue, prize packages.
Dude, I invested everything I owned, like, into something that could financially clear me to then do anything I wanted in paintball for that exact reason. Like, to me, the issues I saw was the money that is generated from the people in the industry. Like, I don't feel that's a fair ratio of money, and I'm not. This isn't at the NXL. This is the industry as a whole. Like, people, I feel like, think it's all the NXL when I refer to this, and to me, it's not all the NXL. There's 15 people, maybe, you know, for a while that have controlled the industry. Let's just be real. I don't think it's a fair ratio of the money generated, the revenue that's at the end of the day that's there, that the amount that's put back into the sport via R&D, via new developments, via new products, via new infrastructure. Like, I think greed supersedes that, and a lot more profit is taken out. So that's where, like, we see this constant great culture and industry of people that love and are awesome, because it is. But at the top of it, the little by little, the money's really just being fucking drained out. So it continues to get worse. But everyone is confused because we're like, we need to make this better because we all love it, and we do, but we can't figure out how to do it because for some reason it doesn't work.
Dude, my understanding is there's not as much profit as we think, but I am with you, dude. I ran the numbers, and I guess you can't demand a business to share their budget, share their spending report. To me, you know, like, and it's fair. It's fair for them not to.
Absolutely, but until they want us, like, if no one's ever, those of us who know, I feel like, aren't ever going to fully believe them until something of the sort. Not to say that give us your books, but you got to give us something concrete. If you're going to cry wolf, you got to show us a wolf at some point, because otherwise, like, no one believes it. How many divisional people, they pay the entry fees and they get a credit back? Like, it's a joke. Like, I'm not saying you have to give $1 million away in prize money, but, like, the top 3 teams should break even in every division. Like, that's
at
ridiculous.
Least the top team. At least the top team. At least the top team.
Like, the top team should make a little bit of money per player. Like, second team, maybe. Third team should break even. That's how I view it. Like, to me, and if there's 20 plus teams in a division and you're traveling across the country. Like,
what do you prioritize? Reffing, prize packages, or playing surface? If you had to choose one that you could improve to be at the highest standard, the other two stay where they're at currently. If you could tell the NXL or, your own league, you can only prioritize one of those things, what would it be?
are you asking from a position of like, what's the best for paintball?
As a player.
Okay,
for you.
For me as a player.
No, not as a player, for you, for whatever you believe, for what's best in paintball, how you would want a league to be ran.
Well, I guess my question, I would say reffing, but like, it would be then what division? Like, I think reffing.
No, it's across the board,
okay,
the board, right? Not what division.
And not to make it a hit at the refs. I just think reffing as an entire entity, as we already kind of discussed, is overlooked and undervalued and discarded. And to me, like, that's the most important piece of the puzzle. Like, the refs, not the most important piece, but the refs dictate a lot of the game flow. And like, if the game flow isn't right, it doesn't matter anything else. Like, because at the end of the day, the game flow is what matters to us, and the players are what matter.
Yes, for the players, absolutely. If the reffing, if a player feels like that has disturbed their experience at the event, then it's pretty catastrophic, right?
You can get over a rocky surface, you can get over holes, right? Like, I don't remember the third piece of the puzzle, but
it's when you feel like you're getting when you feel that it's bias, that's when it's an issue. I think a lot of people are on the same page that refs are going to make mistakes, and it's really hard to ref a paintball game.
Absolutely.
And mistakes do happen, and you just kind of move on from that. But it's when you feel that the reffing is actually biased against you, and there's favoritism and conspiracy against you, right? When you feel that refs might be conspiring against your team. You hear this a lot at like local regional events. It frustrates me, to be honest, because I go and coach these events and I'm like, that was just a mistake. That wasn't intentional. But what these players come back saying is, oh, it was the home field that we were playing against and the home team. Of course, they got all the calls and I'm like, dude, look, that's not what happened here. Own it. Exactly. Yeah. One,
I agree.
You're deferring all of the onerous of your mistakes and what led to just one simple call, right? There's a whole bunch of other things in this game that you could have done differently. Your team could have done better in order to win and play above that, and so to cry that wolf is just something I'm not a fan of at all. It does not take away that it does still happen. I have seen it. I've been to some of these regional events as well, where it's blatant, right? And, that is a bummer because that leaves a bad taste in paying customers' mouth. They don't want to come back to that league. And
trickle effects.
Yeah, for sure.
And no one knows like the actual end exponential result of that. So like in my head, the only possible solution is to stop it before it starts then. Like not assume or hope it ends somewhere nicely. Like, and on the rafting, another thing and it all comes to budget. I understand that. But like have one or two refs per field that are on a rotation. So like they get to sit out and not be in the
They do have one.
Do they have one?
Yeah, I believe one ref is on rotation, which I don't think is enough.
When there's enough staff, right? Like when they're not having 4 or 5 refs on a field.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. And to be honest, I don't know if the divisional fields have that. I know for sure the pro field does.
Yeah,
I don't know.
I from experience this year, like I don't think I know all of them don't have that because I know all of them, at least in Florida, did not even have 8 or 9 refs per field. Like
I guess I would assume, yeah, exactly. If they don't even have enough refs per field, then they're definitely not going to have.
You know what? We say that, but they probably had subs on some fields and then not enough on the other. That would be how that works.
And see, again, that's a tough thing because these refs, I highly doubt that the NXL only hired 5 refs for that field. I highly doubt that. It's much more likely that refs didn't show up last minute and the NXL couldn't do anything about it, right?
Yes, but at the end of the day, like, if you're not responsible as the NXL for the accountability of your employees, who is?
No, I agree with that. I'm not arguing that at all.
Like, it's still their fault. I just don't care if they didn't show up or not. Have backups. Like,
I absolutely agree, 100%. But that brings us back to why it's important to give these refs maybe a little raise, but also a profile and something to aspire to be. If those pro refs are like dominant refs and celebrities in their own right, getting street cred. Yeah, 100%.
Hype them up.
100%. Yeah, we need to do that.
Bring back fish.
Oh, fish.
Bring back fish, dude.
Fish, dude.
I see him every once in a while.
Wait, Tim
What a
Schrofer.
time.
Circle back. Old Corinne's dad, Tim Schrofer is
Yes.
his name. Did you say
Uh-huh.
There
Tim
we
the
go.
first time?
I
Mike.
did not. I said Mike.
Mike, that's
Yeah.
it. Okay,
I said
sorry.
Mike.
That just came
Yep.
back to me. Source set
No, it's
threw
all
it in
good.
there. Tim, come back.
Yeah.
We need
Got
you.
it. Get him back.
The industry
Get him
needs
back.
you.
Yeah. And, you know, like we've all been talking about, it's a progression. People are working hard. It's
And
not like,
they are.
you know,
And I'll
people
even say
are-
this: as much as I'm vocal about negative things in the NXL, I will. Inside the entity, there are plenty of good-intentioned, well-intentioned, hard-working people that love paintball and do their best, and I
Absolutely.
don't want to take away from
Yeah.
any of those people by
That's right.
frustration with the entity as a whole. Let's say.
Yes, because there are a lot of people working their asses
Absolutely.
off to
And
make
I
this
still,
thing.
you know, and most of them I still think are my friends. Like they may not
Yeah.
view me as a friend anymore because it might get them in trouble, which I understand. But I don't have
Mhm.
hard feelings towards most people until you do me wrong.
Damien, as a player, for all the players out there listening, what are a couple big skill sets that you think players need to implement into either their training or play style that is going to make them stand out on the paintball field, whether it's aggression, you know, gun skills, awareness? What are some big skill sets that you particularly think they should apply?
I think to me, we kind of touched on it here and there, this two conversations, but to me, like the mindset, going through the process of like maybe play a 5-on-5 point, but you don't take a pack. Or just play with no paint and you end up just communicating and joysticking your team. Because to me, like that gives you a whole new perspective that most of these people have never done anything besides step on an aerial field, do the same drills that they saw it. Not to hate, but like, do the drills they learned to clinic, do the drills they learned online, play the tournaments, and that's it. And that's great. But there's more. There's so much more that everyone could learn.
Yeah.
So like force yourself into those shitty, tough situations, because if you do it at practice, like you'll then know how to react to it when it happens in the tournament. Right? Like
Absolutely.
if you're down bodies and your gun goes down and you're stuck in a middle can, like instead of freaking out and calling yourself out, which I feel like half the kids nowadays would do, like you're like, oh wait, no, hold on. Woosah. Like, all right, let me become a distraction. Let me communicate. Let me joystick my team. Like, let me go get in snake 3 and draw 3 guns, because if 3 guys are shooting me laying over here, it doesn't matter that my gun doesn't work. But like, to me, most people nowadays don't even think about that. Like they're just like, shit, my gun doesn't work.
Yeah.
Like,
that's it.
I see it all the time.
That's the reality
a
of
gun
it.
going down will take a player completely
let's
out of the
call
game, and
themselves
I have to.
out, like-
Yeah,
Someone got
When-
fucking mercied by Lasoya at ICC. He got like, it let me.
we
surrendered.
saw.
He
Yeah,
got
that doesn't
surrendered.
happen in my head. Like I turn and shoot you. Like
Yeah. What a legend, dude.
Oh,
somehow
imagine
gets
if that guy
photo.
would have tried to turn on Lasoya. That would have been bad.
That'd have been great.
Not a good.
Scalp the Mailtail came at me too for speaking publicly. Don't get me going. I thought he was my friend too.
Who?
Lasoya, Mailtail.
Oh,
Yeah.
really? Huh? What did he have to say?
He just came at me and just said something about stop. He just took the industry side because that's where his job lies, and I understand it. And the old guys are sick of hearing me bitch. Fair enough. But
Again,
so like his argument,
Yeah.
here's the one thing I want to touch base on. His argument was that like he's built, and this is to explain my mindset for people that don't understand it. Like his argument, and the people I feel like in that generation's mindset is like, we've built this industry to what it is. This is our industry. Blah blah blah. Cool. My opinion is it could be 100 times better. And so I'm just done caring that you built this little thing that you love over here. Like to me, it should be this giant thing that we all love. So it's just, to me, I think it's falling on mute ears and they don't understand that. Like I just have a different perspective on where I want things to go and believe they can go. Like I just don't care anymore. I don't need to hear it. But at the end of the day, if perfect example, I guess I don't know if this is hate, and I'm not trying to hate, but like to me, I looked up to Lasoya. He was one of the biggest names in paintball. I'll agree. He's done a lot for this industry. And unfortunately, this industry, he's still selling goggles to survive. Like to me, that shouldn't be how that works. But the reality is it is, and he's proud of that. Like to me, that's frustrating for him. I'm mad for him. Like he should be much more well set up and taken care of because he did so much for this sport, but it didn't happen.
I mean, I think he's building a company with longtime friends, and I think that's probably a passion as well. A passion project. I think I know when I'm done playing, I'm excited to build and continue to play the game, and build certain brands and be within the industry. I think that's part of it. But I do agree. I mean, ideally players can make enough of a living where we retire and that's it. We're done. You know, like that's where we want to be.
Enough of a living to then do what other sports guys do and make smart investments and do good and create things.
Right.
Like I'm not saying make $100 million and retire, but if we all made 100, 150 grand a year for dedicating our lives to this thing, like we could all save 50 to 100 grand a year because we don't really have a lot of expenses when we're traveling. Like then it all of a sudden, a couple of years 100%. Of dedication and sacrifice, you buy a tire, buy a house, start a business. Like, oh, cool, that was worth it. Like that's not, to me, that's not far fetched. Like that's not crazy.
It isn't. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not gonna happen overnight, but it's not not gonna happen. Put it that way. Well, like at this point, I'll literally just do it. We'll do it with 4 teams out of the KC Sports Complex and grow it from there. Like with the internet and the way things are built, like you just need a good production. You don't need a traveling circus to look like there's a huge giant event. Like that'll grow naturally in itself at the existing gorgeous landscaped locations of stadium style fields that both sides constantly reinvest to every year and improve. And then everyone's on the same page of manifesting the great intention of paintball.
I love the idea of building out these complexes that are local, and when major events are not there, teams and players can still go and show up to the arena,
exactly.
And practice. I think that's badass. And that is why I actually am a big fan of the Philly location. I'm excited to see what they do with it next year. Obviously the ball was dropped with it this year. The grounds, they weren't nearly as bad as the pictures looked. Honestly, it was kind of cool and made for some amazing photos, and it wasn't as bad as I thought it was going to be.
Here's what I'll say on that. Had they came out from day one and said, hey, the city of Philly gave us this fucking awesome location to start turning into a long-term plan. Here's what we're going to do. I think everyone would have been cool with it. Not everyone. They would have got.
They waited until it was a thing online before they released something. But they acted quick. I'll give it to them. They acted quick.
They intentionally didn't say anything until someone Snapchatted out, and then they reacted.
I can't assume their intentions. Can't assume their intentions. Honestly, I mean, they've got a million things going on. They're preparing for a massive event. Like maybe. I'm not saying not.
We're gonna dissect it. Fair, but if you can't assume their intentions, we can though, because they've made it clear their intention is to put on a venue for professional events, sports. So to me, like, if their intention isn't to worry about the playing surface of the fucking venue that your business is built around,
I'm not saying their intention isn't to worry about it. I'm saying that I don't know that it was their intention to hide.
Well, that's what I'm getting to. Like, so do you truly think that, like, if that's the foundation of it, like, you just chose not to? You didn't think anyone was going to be upset about that showing up? Like no one thought about.
I can't imagine that Tom didn't walk around and go, "Fuck."
Exactly right. So
this
then,
is gonna be
right. So exactly. So then someone, my head says, Tom should be like, we should get ahead of this before it's a shitstorm. Sure. No, they say let's not say anything. And then an employee, I'm sure, got in trouble once they figured out who it was. Sent Snapchats to people, and that got viral. And within 24 hours, it was a shit show. And then they made a statement, like.
Maybe they planned on saying something, and
maybe
an employee made it go viral before they could.
Here's where my brain goes. Instead of basing my beliefs on someone's possible intentions, I go off of actions or lack of.
What's happening?
So the reality is they didn't say anything, and this came out, and then they said something.
That's fair.
So to
it's
me,
fair.
They reacted, and they chose not to get ahead of it, knowing the people weren't going to be happy.
Dude, communication fixes so much.
It's amazing.
Being honest with people and being transparent with people really, really solves a lot of issues, in anything you're doing.
Yeah, that's the secret to life.
Connectivity. Yeah.
Connectivity.
Straight soul
don't
stuff,
disagree there.
baby.
I
want to ride a horse like Avatar, straight connected.
When are we going to see this field in action? When are we going to see some events from you, Damien?
I don't want to put a date on it. I don't know. Like, we're hoping by the end of this year to have like the infrastructure for the turf field perfectly done to where we can host smaller events. Like we're there's no way within it's going to be an XL size location anytime in the next 6-9 months. Like that's down the road potentially, maybe giant events like that. But the goal is to get the flawless turf field, the flawless grass field, a 10-man hyperball, and a mountain field. And in my head, like you can run pretty good size. Everything you want to do with that, and that's not far-fetched, and that's next year there'll be some events for sure. We'll say that much on the books. I just don't want to overcommit and say something and then look.
It's always better to under promise and over deliver.
I know everyone's giving me shit for it, but I just don't care because I know I'm grinding and there's something coming.
What are you eating right now, buddy?
Beef jerky.
There we go.
You're the first person to eat on the show.
My bad. I've been waiting about it for like an hour.
I love it, dude. It's all good. It's funny. I'm really hungry right now, and I'm looking at the time, and I'm like, man, I'm not gonna have time to get any food after this. So I was like looking real quick to see if I could DoorDash something.
I literally before this started, because my girlfriend, she got attacked by the dog, so like he's outside. I'm like, all right, the only thing we got to figure out is dinner. So I'm like, we'll take a 5-minute break, and I'll run downstairs, put Jackson on a leash. You can run outside, leave to get food, and come back and cook it in the air fryer.
That's funny. What are you gonna get for dinner?
I have no idea. We didn't get that far.
No clue. Okay, yeah. We haven't done that yet.
We just joked about a couple-minute break for snack food. I was like, how long is it gonna go?
We dive into some of these questions from the Discord?
Yeah. Let's do that.
Okay. All right. Let's see.
What time
so
is it?
Jay, I know it's got to be late where you're at right now.
It's almost 11. It's cool, dude. Let her rip. I told you we could talk all night.
Jay Stu 704. Do you think the Astra event that happened this past weekend is a step in the right direction for paintball? Would you do anything differently than they just did, or have any advice on how to improve on what seemed to be an awesome event?
I think we've already touched base on that a little bit of the conversation, but I absolutely think it was a step in the right direction. I mean, I think we all agreed on that. I think competition is great for everything. I didn't see a lot about it, so like I don't want to critique or say, speak where I don't know, but from everything I've seen, it's a lot of the format was kind of a lot of the stuff I plan on doing in mine. I want to do 4 pods, semi-auto caps, like not give out the field layouts. Like, so I think it kind of did a lot of those, and it seemed to work well. Like, I haven't talked to anybody that played it yet. Honestly, I talked to Virgil, who seemed to love it, but they won. So,
yeah,
it's always good. You're always gonna be happy when you won an event. But it seemed like it went off very well. And I talked to Neater today, honestly, and he seemed super stoked. He was super happy with how it went. So I'm glad it happened. It seems a step in the right direction for sure.
Yeah, they were stoked. They won $15K.
Yeah, seriously.
It's a big check. It's nice.
All right, indeed. From Shadow, do you think people built the pyramids or aliens?
Aliens for sure, dude. Put the hats
That's what they say.
There's no way that you could engineer like something that flawlessly perfect top to bottom with today's stuff. Like, and I don't know, don't quote me on this, but like the latitude or longitude of it, like the numbers is equivalent to the speed of light. Tell me that's not a straight source portal. Like, that's not a coincidence.
I'm not positive on that.
Look
I've
it up
definitely heard
after
a ton of wild things. Yeah, God, we need
aliens for sure, dude. Humans didn't.
I will say that there are some extremely peculiar anomalies that are associated with the design and framework of the way that is set up, and it's pretty interesting to say the least.
Dude, stop it with the PC answers, Tyler.
Pretty damn interesting to say the least. Yeah.
Yeah, aliens all day.
Yeah.
No doubt.
All I know is I don't know.
Yeah, we know nothing.
Yeah. Let's see. We got Chris. So Chris Tucker, in the time that you spent playing and you kind of jumped from pro to in the divisional D3, kept moving around with the same teams, what was the reason that this happened? I guess he's just curious about your career kind of and what's been going on.
That's each jump kind of had its own story, but to summarize it, like growing up, we didn't have a lot of money. So until I got to the ranks of Aftershock, where it was fully, a pro team where everything was kind of fully compensated, I did everything I could to play more paintball, and to some extent, like it could be considered heartless to, jump teams and do what was best for me financially. But at the end of the day, like I was only doing trying to figure it out as a kid and learning the best I could. And to me, if I got to play more and got to experience more, that was better for me. And I know some people have that mentality of, be loyal to the team no matter what. And to me, like, yes, but only if that loyalty gets you what's best for you and continues to grow you. And to me, a lot of times people outgrow each other, and that's just the way it is. You just vibrate on to the next one and let it rip.
Are you the paintball troll?
No, dude.
That's my question.
Dead ass serious.
Or the pro paintball troll. Which one are you? Is the question. It's not are you, it's which one are you?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
It's okay. You can go as long as you want, but I was waiting for the 10:30 mark.
Okay. Sorry, I gotta let my girlfriend out real quick. She can't leave because of the dog.
Okay.
I am
It's
not
okay.
the paintball troll. I swear to you, I messaged them trying to get me to tell me who they. Hold on. Trying to get me to tell me who they are because I was like,
You were trying to get yourself to
no,
tell
it's
you
not
who
me.
you were
That's-
as the paintball
dude,
troll.
how many times?
Did you just slip up?
No, I tried to message it, and I'm like, hey, if you will tell me who you are, not this the paintball troll. I was like, I'll help you, give you good ammunition. I was like, I'll help
Yeah.
fuel, and they wouldn't tell me. They're like, I want to so bad. I swear to fucking God, like I don't know who it is. I wish I did.
Dude, it looks like Lil G from the Bean has some insight.
On the
Yeah,
It's
that's like kind of opposite from what I've heard from Kyle, and
I know,
guess
huh?
his source is really good on who the paintball troll is. But there's two actually, so I don't know who he's talking about. By the way, pro paintball troll is way better than paintball troll now. Paintball troll used to be fantastic and really fell off. I think pro paintball troll has
what
taken
happened
the
to
reins.
Tipman 98
Yeah.
Baller? Remember?
Dude, I missed Tipman 98 Baller, man. I became friends with him online. You know, I
Yeah.
felt really cool.
No.
You know, I was like,
Damien,
hell yeah.
we're at the home stretch here. I know you got responsibilities, and we appreciate your time.
All right, keep talking. She's gonna scatter out. I'm gonna let Jackson.
No, you're good. We have Marsh. Do you have another question?
No, I'm all questioned out. To be honest,
I think we answered.
We talked about most of this, and
Yeah.
you know, it's always good to see we're on the same page as our crew, our listeners, and everyone in the PTG group.
There's
but
the monster.
yeah, I mean, dude,
there he is.
Nice for all the listeners. Got Damien's dog over here on the tube.
Yeah,
Yep.
sorry about that distraction at the end. We lost track of time here.
It's okay. The last question that I do have, Rounder was wondering, you played on the Ironman, or you were on the Ironman roster for 2019, but didn't go. Is that right? He was wondering about that.
I played the Chicago event. My years may be off. I retired and played one event, one season, and it might have been that year. And the truthfully, I was just expecting that I'd be able to commit more time that year. So I played that event and then just realized that with life in the business, it just wasn't. I didn't want to be playing pro if I couldn't fully dedicate enough time to be physically and mentally prepared and committed, you know, for the events. I don't want to compete and not be all the way there. So I chose just not to play at that point.
Understandable.
Absolutely. Dame, when are you making a comeback full time?
I hope
pro division.
When we earn a pro spot with Plums, baby.
So that's the only way, huh? You're not going to come back to a team?
I don't know for sure, but that's the plan as of now. You know, to me, that sounds more fun, is to earn it and put in the work and build a program and division out of the field and build, you know, start molding it how I feel it. I wish someone would have done it for me, you know, growing up, not had some asshole on chalk tell me I was a stupid kid and get away from him. Like, right? Like, I literally, like, day one, I told myself, I go, if I'm ever going to make it pro, I was like, I'm not going to be like this. Like, that kind of stuck with me. Like, and that's where we go back to the culture. Like, sure, it's fun and great, but at the end of the day, like, is it best for the sport? Probably not. Like, so we can either learn and grow from that or keep making the same mistakes, and we'll see what happens. I like to grow at this point.
Let's grow, man. That's what it's all about. And dude, we appreciate you so much for being on the show.
No, I'm glad to be back.
The listeners are going to eat this up, and I'm sure you'll be getting a bunch of, you know, love from the PTG fam. We have a lot of people that are tuning in, so thank you for being here with us, man.
Hopefully we'll do a follow-up someday down the road, because I'm sure we're gonna start.
We didn't even get into majority of, you know, your team story and all that, but yeah, we're bumping up on 3 hours and 15 minutes just about, and so you know, the listeners will have to wait for round 2.
Girlfriend was a little grumpy, I think. But
Yeah.
she puts up with a lot. She's awesome. I love her. She's got to teach in the morning.
Yeah. Comes with the territory.
Shout out to her too. Thank you. Tell her thank you for. Yeah. Thank you. And we'll see you at the NXL Chicago here shortly.
We'll see you guys there.
Yes, sir.
Later.
Peace, bro.
Later. Damien Ryan, ladies and gentlemen. Damn, that was a really interesting conversation. I truly enjoyed being able to talk with Damien, get his perspective, be able to push back, and you know, on some of the concepts and thoughts and ideas. I think it's important to be able to have conversation with people and to be able to see such a wide variety of perspective. You know, that's how you can truly come to the best answer and the best way forward. And, you know, Damien definitely is swinging the pendulum really far to one side, and, you know, hopefully we can fall somewhere in the middle, because, you know, a lot of what he's saying, you know, there's definitely some stuff in there that could be taken to improve on, you know, and as a sport, as a community, as individuals, as people, that should be our goal always, is to get better. You should never be complacent, and he's really trying to push those boundaries, not always in the most tactful way, you know, and we did discuss that, but again, you know, pushing boundaries is not a bad thing. So anyway, PTG fam, thank you guys so much for tuning in. We hope you guys enjoyed the 100th episode. Thank you guys so much for rocking with us this long. It seems like we're just getting started on this journey, but dang, 100 episodes, that's a big milestone. We're incredibly excited. As usual, guys, you can head over to ptgpaintball.com and check out all of our shows. We have our video, our audio, all that stuff on there. You guys can also sign up for our Discord through there. Click the Patreon link, get in the Discord, become part of the action, become part of the team, have a chance to call on the show even. All right, everybody. Until next time, peace.